What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live. We got a really exciting week, everybody. I see a lot of people already here in chat, so I know you all are excited like we are. Talk about overwhelming. Thankfully and unthankfully for me, I only got one email so far for a figure shipping for me, but some other people got some emails for some other figures, and we're going to talk about that. But first, guys, let's get into some of these announcements. Or excuse me, some of these releases. A lot of these figures obviously are starting to release in Hong Kong, and some of these figures we're getting emails already for in the US before they're being announced in Hong Kong, and we're not seeing any final product photos yet, but some of them we did. So the first one I want to get into, which is one that I'm certain a lot of you probably aren't picking up, but I will be grabbing this one myself, is going to be our Cyberpunk figure here. If you have a Keanu shrine like me, Johnny Silverhand has to be part of my collection to go with the rest of my Keanu figures. Right now, I have the first Enter the Matrix Hot Toys figure, not the new one, of course, yet. And I also
that Neo is like the one you just were like, do you like this? Does it look cool?
Yeah, it's a special one, dude. It's a special one.
Pre 30-year-old Keanu. Doesn't he look handsome? Those
right
sunglasses.
That's the King Keanu right there. Like, out of all the Keanu figures, that's always going to be my favorite. But I also have the John Wick, so I think these guys are going to go great together. I know this game recently got a bit of a redemption with the new update, and they made some changes.
But it took them 2 years to make it playable,
right? But they kind of pulled a No Man's Sky where they kind of threw in the update, I think a little too late. But I want to say what's up to some people in the chat. Of course, our boy Insane One, some guy always here, always the first ones here. I hope you guys are doing well. My boy Payton, how you doing, Payton? Ty, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you as always. Loco Lou, how's it going, man? The Collector, good to see you as always. Eric, smoke them if you got them, popping in. Cigars, I forgot to send you the link. I'll send it to you in a little bit once we get started here. My bad, I completely forgot to send you the link. But yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? TX Boy, good to see you, brother. I hope everyone's doing well. As you guys can see, tonight we have an amazing panel. We have some more joining us later. But right now we got Lane. As always, it's great to have you, Lane. And my boy Ryan from Mr. Mom Collectibles. We've kind of sucked him into Hot Toys Hotline. He's going to be appearing a lot more. Ryan and I talk very frequently, almost as much as Lane and I talk. So Ryan's become a good friend of mine. So it's awesome to have you back on, Ryan.
Appreciate it.
Congrats on 500 subs. Did I hit 500 subs? Yeah. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me, Payton. Because I know I was close before the stream started. Let's see. Before we get started, hold up. Well, I'll be 500 subs. Well, thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. I got to take my opportunity to say thank you. Hey, I don't want to celebrate too early, though, because guys, subs fluctuate. So by the end of the stream, I might be under 500 subs. That's just
if we spend 2 hours talking about Johnny Silverhand, we'll probably.
I don't want to jinx it. Insane One says it says 497 for him. I'm seeing it. It does say 500. So, hey, at least I hit 500 at some point. If it falls off before the end of the stream, we're at 500 at some point. Kaiju Daddy, good to see you in here, man. I haven't seen you in a bit. I hope you're doing well. Cigar says 500, bro. Congrats on the milestone.
I like Insane One says 497.
Yeah. So you guys, everybody's is here now.
On his 3 accounts, he just went unsubscribe.
That's probably what he did. And knowing Insane One, he probably did that for me. He probably made multiple accounts and subscribed because he's that dude. I appreciate you, He said, smash that like button to subscribe. Yeah, honestly, if you're new here, guys.
That sounds like something Lou would actually do, being the crazy one.
Yeah, that would be very loco of him, right?
Yeah, Loco Man.
Yeah, very crazy and wacky of Loco Lou. But yeah, guys, I kind of want to start talking about this Johnny Silverhand here. And don't worry, guys, we're going to talk about. I know everybody's so anxious to talk about the Loki figure. Don't you worry. I know I got a lot to say. I know Lane's got a lot to say, but I definitely know that Ryan has a lot to say. So we're going to get into that. But first, I do want to talk about the Johnny Silverhand, and I'm curious to hear everybody's thoughts on the panel because I feel like this one is definitely going to be a sleeper figure. And the reason I say that is when you look at everybody's wish list for figures, the last one that I think is going to be on their list for most people is going to be this guy.
All I can say is this guy has been on the $20 coupon for quite a while on Sideshow.
Right. It's been a minute, and I feel like there hasn't been a lot of buzz about this guy. But I feel like this is one of those figures for those that pre-ordered them. They're like, oh, man, are they ever going to release this? And thankfully, this guy didn't get put into release hell because very often one-off figures like this, similar to Pennywise, for example, They kind of get the short end of the stick, and it takes forever for them to release.
But he had the Keanu factor.
Right. So I think that's the main reason they decided to put this one out on time.
Cyberpunk 27 kind of failed, quite honestly, that sucked the hype out of this. I think at this point that it was just one of those ones where they need, like, let's just get this one out so we can get it off our docket. You know,
I think you're right. I think you're right. And it's not like the easiest figure for them to produce because it has that robot arm. So they probably wanted to get it out of the way and just say, cool, we're done with it.
And it may not, like you point out, sometimes may not have had a high production. Like, I still think it's going to take a little bit to sell out, not like forever, but it's not going to sell out in like it's not going to sell out in like a month after it comes out or something like that once Sideshow gets it in stock. But,
yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, it's with this one, I do feel like a lot of people probably were waiting for this to arrive on coupon just because it is $285. And again, this is a one-off figure. Me personally, and Ryan likes to talk about this a lot too, and he knows that I kind of share the same opinion. With this one, you really have to separate it from the game itself and separate it from the content, because the game, obviously, like you were saying, Lane, was a huge fail. At release, it was probably one of the buggiest games at release, next to like Skyrim and that new Pokemon game, from what I'm hearing. So you kind of have to separate it from the release. And again, I'm a big fan of Keanu Reeves as an actor and a person. So because of that, I can separate him from the content and say, man, I can't pass on a Keanu Reeves figure. And this is going to look great with the other Keanu Reeves figures in my collection. Or if you have any other like cyborg style figures or robotic figures or anything like that, you can make it work in your collection.
Figures from the game, can you know? Like,
yeah, so those as well that come with like the bike and everything. Yeah, they would look incredible together.
Yeah, not to give spoilers away, but like Johnny Silverhand is not just like, he's not the main character you play as. That's V, who is a creative character more or less for you. It's still voice and everything, like Mass Effect or something like that, but it's first person. But where Johnny Silverhand, this isn't Keanu like shows up at different points. Like, you know, a good example would be the Far Cry series, where you a lot of times will see the main villain and stuff, but because that's a big open world game, like they'll disappear for like, you know, 20 hours in the game in a row or something like that. Johnny Silverhand is a reoccurring side character. Oh, jeez.
I could only keep that up for a second. I had to because it was clever, but my lord.
But he's a reoccurring important character in the game. He's going to have a presence and be around.
Right, and it's Keanu Reeves. Like, come on now.
So, you know what's throwing me off about this figure, which is really confusing, and I know of it. Like I said, really cool. I think it's going to sit. You know, it's everything you guys touched on. That's why I'm not really saying much about it, because I know of the game. I haven't, you know, it's more for like if you're a Keanu fan, things like that. What's weird to me, and this is a totally off topic about the figure, is the natural arm, the opposite of his right arm. The elbow joint on that. It actually, you know, it's not a seamless arm, but it looks so good though, actually, compared to the gore that looked like garbage. Is it like the same arm, or is it like a different like?
So let me pull up a photo where we
like. It doesn't look bad. It's for a seamless arm.
It might be just good because of Gore's kind of weird, you know, because he's a pale.
It's odd because I saw this
gray skinned dude might be offsetting or something like that.
Lane, you took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say. I just think that, like, to the naked eye, when you look at a human flesh tone, it looks a lot different than that like pale white color.
Yeah, I guess. And it had like tattoos scarring on it and stuff like that.
Right,
so
and it's almost like
weird because it's like it looks really good right there. Like for a non-seamless arm, I'm like,
it's not bad, really, and you got like your veins and stuff and tattoos and everything.
There's a little bit different. I think sometimes it can help too is where Gore. Both the arm, obviously, both these arms are the similar thing.
Yeah, you're not looking at both of them.
But one's a like cyborg robot arm. It's like with Cable to a certain extent.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Where
it's just weird.
I mean, we still don't. Cable obviously has a lot more clothes, and even this guy does if you have him done up.
So Lane's not too happy about that because like the more clothes, you know, he's just not. A big
yeah. Well, Johnny,
nice figure though.
But I think with like the robot arm and stuff like that makes it a little bit easier in some ways to accept it too, where you're not seeing both arms like that or something.
That's a very good point, Lane. The robot arms. I mean, that's and as you bring that up, that's kind of the whole point of them giving this figure like these single jointed elbows, because every time they do a robotic arm, it's single jointed every single time.
Yeah, even
and there's obviously a
Winter Soldier.
reasoning behind that. Exactly. There's obviously a reasoning behind that. But yeah, that is a very interesting point because they could definitely hide it much easier in the robotic arm. And like you said earlier, I forgot what you called that little piece sticking off of the back, like a can opener or something.
the bottle opener.
But yeah, the bottle opener. You can see it kind
of. That's the only thing that feels a little weird, even though that is completely accurate, and I think that's what he actually used it for.
A design cue that you don't really care
of the game, and that's what he used. That's what he uses it for in the game.
Is this is this a completely unique sculpt to this figure, or is this going to be?
This is a unique sculpt to this figure,
because it does look like the knee. I didn't know if there's like I
think it's an original body too. Like this is an original body,
right? Because the proportions are very unique to this character because he is pulled out of a video game. So I would agree that this is probably a unique body to this figure as well.
And the sculpting too.
It sounds like what they did too, at least from Justin's review of this, because I watched it on this one because. I like Keanu and I like the look of this guy, just kind of the character design and stuff to it. But he did talk about this is very much like how all the pleather pant or
that stings. Those pants.
He said he's not sure. He wasn't sure if it was pleather.
You know what it almost looks like? The Infinity War Thor. It almost looks like the material in his pants, which those aren't fully pleather. They're not. Like on the inside towards his crotch, that for lack of a better way to put it. That feels like pleather, but the rest of the pants they don't feel like pleather.
This one I was almost a little bit concerned, like when you look at the Winter Soldier with his jacket and stuff like that, and you're just going, "Oh Lord!" Like in 2 years, if I don't have this in the appropriate climate, is it going to be? I'm going to touch it, and just parts of the color are going to come off on my finger.
Disintegrate.
But it sounds like what they did with this body is kind of almost what people were talking about with the Cable body, because obviously he's got some pieces into his body like Cable, that not as much like the Cable has with the technology.
Right, and you can kind of you can kind of see it here in this photo.
Yeah, it's got like
that piece going across his chest. So it's definitely a unique body,
Yeah, where at least Justin's review, he talked about that once you took off kind of the bulletproof vest looking thing that he was wearing, the body is very thin. But when you have that on, he looks like a bigger, thicker body type. Right. I think they may have had the same principles like they did with Cable for him. And Johnny's a thinner guy. He's not a big hulky.
Yeah, you can see his proportions. Why they always got to put these sad commercials on when I open these videos, man? I swear.
St. Jude's and stuff.
But real quick, before we continue, I have to read out my favorite YouTube username, 16 Star Wars Pimpazoid. Don't you forget it. That's the best YouTube username I've ever seen, guys.
I would probably disagree with you just a little bit on that.
There's another one, but I'm not going to read it out. No. He always pops in here, and he's our boy, but I'm not going to read it out.
No. Well, my favorite one, I haven't seen him around as much anymore, but there was a guy whose YouTube nick was King Dingaling.
Of course you would like that. Oh, and my boy Boba Fettuccini. I don't know if he's popped in tonight, but I love his name too.
OG fan.
Oh, he has. I think I missed him. Boba Fettuccini, what's up, my man?
Yeah, but
and Matt is here. Hello, Matt. Nice. How you doing, bro? Good to see you.
I think my favorite is still OG fan though, because the fact that he actually took time to put all of that into his name.
He has one of the longest usernames.
How do you guys like that? Let me ask you. How do you guys like? With like Carlito. The box here, with the box coloring being the bright yellow and also the base being that bright yellow color. I think it fits for Cyberpunk.
I love it, dude. I love the
I love the latest batch of like Hot Toy boxes in general.
Dude. I love this too. This like little cutout window with the Johnny Silverhand name above it. It's very clever. Very, very clever.
I like how they did just the one picture of the figure and stuff like that, playing the guitar and everything. Makes me wish they would reissue a 2.0 of the Crow.
Well, I guess now they don't need to. Sideshow one. I'd be game for it, but dude, I've said this plenty of times, and I stand by it. That Sideshow Eric Draven Crow figure is fantastic. It really is, and I'm very proud of Sideshow for putting out such a good release, considering what happened recently with the Star Wars stuff. They're really killing it with the stuff other than Star Wars, like the horror stuff. I heard the Dude was a great figure. The Crow, like I'm really, really pleased with that figure. But like seeing it in the box here, I could honestly say I really do love the proportions on this figure. And Peyton mentioned it in the chat. Let me see if I can find his comment. And I was thinking the same thing myself when I first saw the the final product photos, it looks like they shortened that neck a little bit or made some changes somewhere to it where it didn't look as elongated, because that was my first initial issue with this figure, is the neck looked very elongated. Like he had kind of like that giraffe neck-itis, you know, his neck was just kind of there. And I don't think it looks nearly as bad. And I think the way that the hair kind of frames the face, it helps with that look as well. I think it looks really great. This is a figure I'm still going to wait on in terms of getting a deal on it, because I just don't see myself spending $285 on it unless I'm really pressured to, like if it hits waitlist early. This one I'd like to be below like $250, to be honest with you. And I'm still going to get it regardless, but I don't know, $285 is just too much for me.
And you have a lot of other stuff coming you might need to worry about.
Yeah, and all this stuff is coming out now, and it's like I got to prioritize that stuff first.
Nice sculpt though.
Yeah, it looks great, especially in this video here. And obviously, this lighting is terrible.
Yeah, it's the face.
No detail on the face. Right, exactly. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that, guys. That's something we're going to talk about when it comes to Loki, because the lighting is a huge thing. You can kind of see that firsthand here, because you guys know the Hot Toys paint jobs are way deeper than this in terms of detail. Yeah. So this isn't representing it very well. But
this guy just feels like it's a. If you're able to get him for a good price, cool. If he does sell out or something like that, then it's not one that would, you know, where I know you like it and you want most all Keanu things. But if you did miss out on him, but you're still able to get like the Matrix Resurrections Neo, you'd be cool, like kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't cry over this one. I do want it, again, simply because of the Keanu, because I never finished the game, because unfortunately, I played it when it first came out, and that ruined it for me. It really did. It really did.
Keanu's gun that he has, the figure here, guys, that is actually a gun you get to use and can get in the game. And like, it's a great, like, and you know, mostly melee guys with it. It's a great.
You know what it looks like to me? Like an 80s arcade blaster, and that's why I love it so much. That's why I love it.
You know what
so
it's done? If you ever played that Far Cry game that had the expansion where you got to play. Like Michael Bain voiced the character, and it was like an 80s kind of almost like sci-fi movie throw up.
There he is. What's up, cigars?
What's up?
What's going on?
Literally had sharks with lasers on its head and stuff like that. And I think a Tyrannosaurus Rex that shot lasers.
Sharks with lasers? That's Austin Powers, Lane.
No. Sorry. It was a T-Rex, Robo T-Rex.
Trust me. I know my Austin Powers. I love it.
Yeah, no. It was
who in the chat likes Austin Powers? Everybody I ask gets 50-50.
That movie.
All of
those crazy. Everybody remembers Austin Powers.
I know people who don't know
the scene where he's in the tent.
Gold member.
That's a keeper. He puts the skin in the little dude. Austin Powers. I love Austin Powers.
Save me.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, when Will Ferrell when he falls down the cliff, dude. I love those movies, man. Yeah, oh, behave.
Yeah,
the scene, I'm telling you. There's two scenes that are so memorable to me. I'll never forget them. The one is obviously when he's in that little cart and he's trying to get out, and he keeps backing up and going forward, backing up, going forward. That shit's hilarious. And the other one is when he's in the tent and you can see the shadow of him inside the tent with his love interest. I forgot her name. And he's just pulling the rope out, or she's pulling the rope out. And it looks like it's come. Oh my God, dude.
Felicity Shagwell.
Yeah. Felicity Shagwell. Yes. I know he had multiple love interests, but that was his first one. But
yeah, Elizabeth Hurley before she would turn out to be a fembot.
Yes, that was very unfortunate.
I have
machine gun Jubblies.
I hated that.
Yes. Oh, second love interest. Thank you, Raxus.
You know that.
Yeah,
that's Heather Graham.
Here's a tissue.
Graham's love interest.
Right, dude. HG. I'd be all in for it, dude. I'd be all in for it. I'd absolutely buy like Dr. Evil, Mini Me, Austin Powers, Felicity Shagwell, Fat Bastard. Like, come on now. I'd buy them all.
What was Beyonce Knowles' character in that?
I don't know. I did like her character though.
She was Foxy Cleopatra. She was
Foxy Cleopatra. Yes. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
See,
there you go.
How you gonna say that movie?
Yeah, Matt knows everything. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. That is like maybe the greatest expansion ever made. I mean,
that was like the 80s, like
sci-fi one with like laser shooting Robo T-Rexes.
Yeah,
the main character. It was like a comic cutscenes kind of thing. And the character was voiced by fucking Michael Bain, doing like his raspy, like insane 80s mecha hero. thing. It was bananas.
Raxus, I would do, but we got 2 more coming tonight. It's gonna be too many.
The guy in the Blood Dragon was Reese.
Michael Biehn, yeah. Who was also.
I just call him Reese.
Well, I think of it more of Hicks from Aliens.
It's either or for me as well. It's either Hicks or Reese. That's it. I don't like to use him when people refer like The Rock. I'm like, man, no way, he died in that. That wasn't cool.
This is interesting how you could see the separation on the joint, and then they still have that like cybernetic metal on the inside. That's very interesting that they did it that way. Huh. I like this arm, dude. I really do. It's definitely one of those. It's kind of, you know what this reminds me of? It's like the Clone Wars Maul legs. You either like those or you don't, because they're very basic. You compare those to the Solo Maul legs, where you can see like exposed wiring and those extra pistons and everything. This is kind of the same way. Like you said, if you compare this to Cable's arm is way more detailed. But with that being said, I still think this looks really cool. But it is one of those things. You either like it or you don't. $1 million. Yeah.
Chat's flooded with Austin Powers quotes.
I know, dude. I'm so happy to see so many people love Austin Powers, because I swear when I bring it up, it's either people love it or they hate it. And I loved it, dude. I absolutely loved it. Obviously, it's very corny, but dude, Mike Myers is a legend for those movies. He really is. Ian says, I really hope the Val Kilmer Batman drops soon. Really hyped for that guy. This Johnny Silverhand looks great.
Unfortunately, I think if you're after DC stuff, you're in the delay zone.
Yeah, so, and we are going to talk about that in more detail a little bit later, but yeah, so unfortunately, basically all of the DC stuff got the shaft, and it all got pushed back in favor of the other madness of all these emails going through. So unfortunately, the DC stuff is going to wait for a little bit, and it's unfortunate for me too, because, and I know Ryan as well is going to be getting Cyborg, and Cyborg was delayed as well, so. And that's the last of the freaking Justice League, man. Like, we need it. You know, if you have the Justice League, or if you're assembling the Justice League currently, like, that's the last piece to the puzzle. So
and that could be bad things for other, like the
single songwriter. Good to see you, man. Good to see you,
baby.
Mole.
No, you know what's my favorite? What was that? Ivana Hump-a-Lot when they were doing the photo shoot, and I'm spent, and he throws the camera. Dude, I love it. Yes, XE Batman got delayed to February to March, dude. And we were just talking about that XE Batman. Remember we said like he's pretty
doesn't
detailed.
Have a sculpt, maybe.
Well, we were saying like despite him not having a sculpt, he's very detailed. So we think we thought he wasn't going to make it. And I will say some of our predictions from last week were right, or sorry, the previous week, and some of them actually we ended up getting the figure. So it's so hard to call this stuff, guys, especially with all of these figures on pre-order. It's very difficult to call it. But yeah,
everything going on down in China.
That's true.
Too.
And Sean's not here at the moment. He will be later. But Sean was telling me that this is a record for Hot Toys for all-time releases in 1 month, which is crazy. And Cigars has been a big proponent of giving Hot Toys credit where credit is due, and kind of sharing the world situation with everybody, and kind of saying like, despite all of this, they've been able to achieve this. And I think now more than ever, we kind of have to give them credit for that, because it's like, holy crap, they are really throwing out these releases. And if they're all quality or meet our expectations at the very least, you got to give them credit, you know? And obviously things can happen when these figures start showing up. QC issues may pop up. We don't know, but I'm hoping that they won't. And I will see like I will say the QC issues lately haven't been terrible. Just wanted to pause on this beautiful blaster, because that translucent grip is amazing. It looks so good.
Wish we could have that in real life.
Hey, at least it won't probably, at least with Hot Toys, you won't end up like that Exo Kirk from the movie, where basically the owner of the company, president of the company or whatever, had CEO, had to come out and say, this is all there is. There's no molds. If they don't break, don't make it to you or anything. Sorry, but you don't get the figure.
Yeah.
You can refund it, but you won't get it.
Thankfully, we're not dealing with that. TK, that could work. Although I do really love Sebastian Stan as Bucky, and I wouldn't trade him for the world. But I mean, it could, dude. The sad thing is, I look at Keanu and I'm like, dude, he could basically fit into a lot of roles. Like if roles were reversed and things got swapped, I'm like, dude, it could work. And one of the biggest ones for me, by the way, I don't know if you guys knew this, but like it seems like Constantine 2 is going to happen. I know.
Dude, we get a figure from Constantine.
Dude, so I remember there was an interview with Keanu, and they had asked him, they're like, if you could make a second film from another movie, like revisit a film that you've worked on in the past, what would it be? And he was like, he was like, definitely without hesitation, Constantine. And then some
because there was
information
supposed to be a sequel, and they
right,
they killed it.
exactly. And it's like it's a movie he really enjoyed making. He loved playing the character, and it seems like there's like whispers.
I don't think he would be. But we've had a guy who plays a much better Constantine than he does.
But the thing is, if you're a Keanu Reeves fan like myself, I loved him as Constantine. I loved that film.
Yeah, you might, but the guy who's played him and voiced him more recently, he is a much better Constantine. He looks and acts way more like Constantine.
Well, again, it's all personal preference. For me, I enjoyed Keanu Reeves in the role, and I have no connection to the other. Oh, holy crap! I never saw this. Look at that. That is cool as crap. That translucent crotch grabber. That's super cool.
Yeah, no, this thing really like with the backdrop diorama they put with it. It doesn't look crappy like poor Axe Woves' diorama.
Yeah, these one-off figures, man, they do get good treatment. I mean, look at Pennywise. Pennywise arguably has one of the best diorama bases ever from Hot Toys. Obviously, that's debatable if you're a horror fan or not. But for me personally, I'm like, dude, that's cool. That's clever.
Can you say
that's thinking outside of the
you've
box.
Ever seen from Hot Toys where you can have like one of the heads in the
right? You could stick the head inside the base. That's a great use of extra accessories.
I mean, Jesus, that's like, has there been anything creepier and more unsettling you've seen from Hot Toys?
Right. Yeah, single, dude. I still have to pre-order Doc Brown. Mr. Ryan over here, I'm jealous of him because he got his email about Doc Brown. I still have to pre-order him. I just got my Marty. I was late getting Marty because when Marty was first announced, I wasn't collecting anything other than Star Wars. So I'm catching up a little bit on that stuff. Finally, almost caught up. But yeah, I'm really excited for that Doc Brown, man. And here's the thing with the Doc Brown, you have to get the deluxe. I mean, the fact that the Doc Brown comes with a case of plutonium, that's a huge plot point in the first film. So you have to get that deluxe.
Especially if you're going to get the DeLorean.
Right. If you're going to hunt down that first DeLorean, especially, like, dude, that's super cool. But yeah, I'm really excited for that Doc Brown. I have after seeing Marty in person, I have no doubts that Doc Brown is going to be a home run. Like it's crazy how good this new Marty is, or this most recent Marty, I should say. I think they're really, really going to do a great job. I have no worries about that one. Zombie, I think it is, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to say. I don't want to. Sometimes I jump the gun and I'm wrong, but if you could look into that and let me know. I think the Constantine 2 thing is like semi-confirmed, but I'm not positive. Violet, how's it going? I hope you're doing well, Violet. Good to see you. I haven't talked to you in a bit.
Sworn that they said Constantine 2 was moving forward.
I thought it was greenlit, but I wasn't sure because I don't remember what I read, so I didn't want to say anything. But I think
knows anymore. Who knows anymore?
That's true.
That could change by the week.
Yep, it's green.
Oh, Riley, thank you so much, bro. Riley, congrats on the
November,
800, dude.
November 16th, 2022. Constantine 2's R rating could finally make good on the promise of the original movie.
No, we'll see. I'm going to say is with Warner Brothers right now. We'll see.
I mean, honestly, if you go on his IMDb page, he has Constantine 2 is in production.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By the way, along with John Wick.
You guys can take that. I'm with anything Warner talks about right now. I'm wait and see on everything. If they say it's a wrap, then I'll go fine.
That's fair.
That's not up to Warner. It's the Discovery team, and they've already finished cutting everything they wanted to cut.
I'm glad to hear, Violet. I'm very glad to hear that.
Doctor Strange.
How you doing, Riley, by the way? So yeah, guys. Okay. Number one. This box is godly. This is a godly box right here, man.
Dude, is it just me, or does that box look like those tin foil signs?
It where they're like metallic.
Yeah, it looks like a
Displate
box,
that company.
It looks like those. It looks like those Blu-ray metal.
Oh, like
metal
a steel
cases.
book. Yeah.
Steelbook.
Like when I saw the box, I was like, "Whoa, is it metal?" And
dude,
then,
I'm a sucker for boxes.
I was like, never mind. It's just a gloss. But damn, how cool would that have been if they gave you a steel book type of thing?
Right. I'm a sucker for boxes, man. Matt, exactly. So like Matt's saying, this is about Doc Brown. $20 and you get a trunk of plutonium, dude. Like it's a no-brainer. And again, it's such a huge plot point, so you have to get it. But yeah, guys, we got the No Way Home Doctor Strange released in Hong Kong. This one I actually have not picked up yet.
The nobody remembers Doctor Strange after they saw the one from Multiverse.
Yeah, so I think you're right.
Strange.
I think for a lot of people, most recent Doctor Strange is going to be like the definitive Doctor Strange. He comes with a lot of cool stuff. That new outfit is really, really vibrant, even more than this one. And the fact that he comes with those dragon snake things, like those effects are really, really cool. But with that being said, if you're putting together a No Way Home display, obviously this Doctor Strange is kind of a must for some people, including myself, because that cauldron that he comes with where he conjures that spell, that is what throws that entire movie into motion. You know, Peter convinces him to cast that spell, and that's what creates the whole issue with the multiverse, you know? So I think if you're a fan of that film and you're really going hard on No Way Home, this one's going to be really, really awesome in that display. Because again, it's a big plot point. This is what kind of turns the tide of the film and kind of throws us right into the action, you know? So yeah, this figure is definitely coming home for me. As always with these little diorama bases, I wish they would use a bit better materials with these. I haven't watched this video yet, so I don't know what it looks like from the bottom. I don't know if it's a hard plastic backer or anything. But if it's anything like the Wanda, where she has the candles around her, that looks like straight up cardboard to me. So I am curious to see this with you all and kind of find out at the same time as you all what this comes with, because I just wish this stuff was more permanent. You know, I love the cardboard backdrops, but it's like they're so cheap. Like, I think a step in the right direction, if you guys have the Armorer figure, the Star Wars Armorer figure, her backdrop is very substantial, very thick material. It's not that cheap cardboard that they've been using for years. So I would like to see something a little bit better. So I'm curious to find out with you all what this is. Yes, the box does look really cool. Ian says the lovely box. I'm still torn on whether to get the Mom Strange or this one here. This one does really seem to be filled out with accessories. My advice on that one is, number one, evaluate your space. If you're like, okay, I have room to display him with the cauldron, because honestly, if you're getting this one, it's to display him with the cauldron. If not, you really have to love this look over the other version. Me personally, I think if you're not going to display him with that cauldron, I would move on to the other version. I do think the other version, in my personal opinion, I do like the outfit more. I think it's more vibrant. Again, I love the extra effects and stuff that he comes with. I think they're definitely superior to what this version includes. So if I had to choose, I would definitely go with the Multiverse of Madness with all of that stuff in mind. Now, me personally, I am a kind of a Doctor Strange completionist as of late after I got into Marvel, because he is my favorite Avenger, so I'll be grabbing all of them. But if you had to pick one, consider those things when you're making your decision. Single Songwriter says that's a lot of neck. And I think at this angle, and it's kind of like a little bit under, he does kind of have a bit of a long neck. But that being said, if you tilt his head down a little bit, it really helps to mask that. And I personally haven't seen many people display Doctor Strange without the cloak. I don't think it's a bad look without it. And especially if you have multiples, it's a good way to mix it up. But I will definitely be displaying mine with the cloak personally.
This Doctor Strange is good too if you missed out on the Infinity War Doctor Strange.
Yeah, because this is very, very similar.
This is pretty much the same outfit. And if you look in the accessories, they include the time rings.
Yeah, that's right. The little sling ring things, yeah.
Well, no. The green spelled time rings from when he activates the
you're right. I know. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Which in No Way Home, he didn't have that because, he gave up the time.
Right, because he doesn't have the stone anymore.
Yeah, but for some reason in this box, if you look, they give you the green activation spell of like him using the Eye of Agamotto.
Which is interesting because the Eye of Agamotto isn't going to have the stone in it, so that's
exactly.
Interesting.
Which is, they give you the necklace with it closed. They give you the time spells around to go around his wrist. So it almost as if they knew. So they were like, hey, if you missed Infinity War and you want to get Doctor Strange, other than Multiverse of Madness, or you're just looking to complete it, this figure would still go with your Infinity War Endgame Strange.
That's true. I mean, that would make a lot of sense that was their realm of thinking. This is a beautiful figure, though. It really is. And with Marvel, you often see a high concentration of detail because the costume design in Marvel is so complicated and so complex. And you could really see that here, especially with the inside of the cloak, because it's like the inside of the cloak is obviously shown when you're displaying it, but you don't really see it as much as a lot of the other details on the figure. So it's nice to see that Hot Toys is continuing to go this in depth with detail with a lot of these figures. And I think it looks incredible. By the way, I just wanted to share this. By the way, how you doing, Thick Banther Boy? It's good to see you as always. Thick Banther Boy says he's pretty sure Justin said a while back that the Wanda candle base is cardboard. I would tend to agree with that. If you look at it, it looks incredibly thin. And I think a lot of us can make the educated guess that it is cardboard. I don't know if Sideshow particularly mentions if it's cardboard or not, but I'd put money on it that it definitely is. That's why I'm very curious about the base that comes with this Doctor Strange, like the lower portion, because it looks kind of cheap. So I'm curious to see what material it's made of. Yes, you must buy Mr. Strange. That's Doctor Strange to you. He worked very hard for that. That is Doctor Strange to you. Yeah, Mr. Strange. Matt says Strange is all about the magic effects. I got the first one and just bought the magic effects until the Multiverse of Madness comes. Yeah, and that's true. That's very true. Because obviously at the end of the day, he is a sorcerer. So what better way to show any form of sorcery than the magic effects? Me personally, I have the Infinity War one, and it's incredible. It really is absolutely incredible. I might hunt down the movie version eventually, but I'm really not pressed for it because the Infinity War version is kind of like the ultimate Doctor Strange as of right now with everything it comes with before these started releasing. So I'm really happy with that one in my collection. But this one does look really good. I just love the redesign in Multiverse of Madness. There's a lot more detail on his main robes. There's a lot more detail, and it's like this super vibrant blue. This one has a bit of touch of that vibrant blue that is on the Multiverse of Madness one, but it's much more muted overall in color. But with that being said, this does look really, really good. I am a fan of the head sculpt. I think the expression is a bit neutral. I would like to see a little bit more expression, but with that being said, I don't dislike the head sculpt whatsoever. It's just very neutral on this one. Single Songwriter says, pose with his cloak. The tailoring is what makes this figure look amazing. It's not easy to shrink those details down. And that's very true. It's very, very true. It's very difficult. And we've definitely seen Hot Toys come a long way when it comes to those little details. I mean, we could just look, perfect example, guys. We look at the first Civil War Black Panther versus that new Legacy Black Panther. Look at all the little different details and minor changes they made to that suit to make it look that much better. You know, it truly is a 2.0 through and through, you know? So we have seen Hot Toys improving there. I'm curious though, not only from the people in the chat, but people in the panel, are you guys picking this one up or are you guys going to be passing on this one in favor of the Multiverse of Madness one?
I'm going to be I'm waiting. I am trying to complete the No Way Home line. I'm going to try it. That's what I'm going to go for and get all of them. I had the Infinity War Strange. I sold it.
Get out of here, Blake.
In preparation for these guys. I honestly think this is one of those where patience is going to pay off. I think I said this last night on another stream that patience pays off because I think this is going to battle out with the Multiverse of Madness Strange because, as you said, I think the Multiverse of Madness has a stronger sculpt, and I for me personally, I feel like Doctor Strange's sculpts haven't really progressed that much from figure to figure. Like in terms of like he just like,
they're all relatively
it's like a
similar, yeah.
Facial expression. It's not really any animated. Although the new one is much more, probably the most leap forward in terms of detail. For me, as you can see, I mean, I'm switching my displays out to bigger displays. I want this one personally just because of all the effects and everything like that. I think it looks great. I think it's about, what is it, like $20 cheaper? It's cheaper than the Multiverse of Madness version. I think it's like $315. The other one's like $330. I think.
I believe you're right. Yeah, $315.
It's like $15-$20 cheaper. But it almost feels like an Infinity War like 2.0 version.
Yeah,
like a 2.0 Infinity War, and it's all about the display. So if you're not going to display it, like you said, I mean, do you spend the more money and get the better version from the Multiverse of Madness? I mean, but I think they're both kind of sit respectfully because I think people are going to be torn on terms of which one they're going to get. It's almost like if you can mix and get the Multiverse of Madness figure with this display setup.
And you know what else too? The interesting thing is obviously if you get that the battling version of Spider-Man, he comes with this cube.
That's true.
So I can see people saying like, I'm getting that Spider-Man. Yeah. I don't need this Strange because again, this cube is obviously what causes everything.
It comes with that battle damage version, like
right.
You said,
so it's included with that battling version. So I can see people, you know what? I'm just going to get the Multiverse of Madness version. If I want to throw him into my No Way Home display, I can. and it would be perfectly suitable in that display.
And
look
you
great.
know, in the comments, people were saying I completely forget about it because they blurred it out. Also, I mean, for a $15 price hike on the Multiverse of Madness, it does have that third eye head sculpt, so it is going to have 2 sculpts. So I did forget about that. So that $15 extra is kind of justified.
That's true. Oh, and yes, we cannot forget about that third eye sculpt. That sculpt is beautiful, and honestly, because I have so many stranges,
right? We haven't seen it officially. It's been blurred out still.
Right, exactly. It's been mostly blurred out, but it's going to be incredible.
That's going to be a killer.
Yeah, and I think I might actually display mine with that, being that I have all these stranges. There's a way to separate them apart now because they included that, so I may have to do that. It definitely looks incredible. So thank you, too, for pointing that out. Ian says, I just want them to make yellow glove strange already one time in Ragnarok. Yeah, dude, that's a good look. That contrast with the yellow is pretty incredible.
I'm so surprised they never did gloves yet. I mean, even in the movies, he hasn't worn gloves. I mean, aside from that one scene.
Oh, single. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but yes, there is the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer dropped. And Single Songwriter saying there's going to be new versions of them coming from Hot Toys. I am really excited for him. And Ryan and I kind of talked about this. Dude, what the hell did they do to Groot? He looks ridiculous.
And he's still the same way in the new movie.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else agrees. Like, I don't know who all has seen the holiday special. It was great, by the way. But what the hell did they do to Groot? He looks so bad. And I'm often... You guys know, often I give things the benefit of the doubt, but he looks bad, dude. I think that is absolutely the worst Groot look thus far. I mean, we've had baby Groot, we've had young Groot, we've had teen Groot, we've had adult Groot in the first
OG Groot is still the best one. OG.
Yeah, and I think he's the best looking one too. Yeah, so everybody kind of has the same sentiment.
Also Indiana Jones
dropped too. Vin Diesel said that it's basically Alpha Groot is what we're getting. So we might see at one point, like, maybe they're not showing it, but he said in the movie we'll see him as a full-blown adult again. But he's going to be swole and, like, the comic look. He's going to have the spiked branches coming out of his shoulders and things like that. And Vin Diesel confirmed that in an interview.
I hope that the look evolves because, again, right now it looks like a cosplayer to me. Like, I'm just not a fan. He's got no neck. And like everybody's saying, swole Groot. Groot looked like he was juicing. Eddie Rodriguez says, I heard that was a different character, like the sun or something. I don't know, dude.
Did you ever see people do cosplays of like Thanos or the Hulk that are like 5'7" and they're like,
dude, that's what it looks like. That is what it looks like, dude.
It looks like a 5'7" person trying to cosplay like the tall.
Right. When people like cosplay as like Megatron and stuff, like that's what it looks like, dude. And when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. That's what I was telling you the other day. Like, I'm like, dude, I could not believe that. That's the look that we got for Groot. So guys, I think it's time to move on to something.
I just don't like that costumes in the trailer they had the Guardians wearing. I thought they looked stupid.
Aren't those honestly costumes?
That's their Annihilation outfit.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Drax with
Conquest and everything.
Yeah, I still don't like those look.
Let me see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to find my post from the. Oh, here we go. So this one's a spicy one, guys. I'll be honest with you. It's a real spicy one, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know what I'm talking about. But I want to start this off with kind of how it all began.
Yeah, I like you. I was like, you're first pulling up what you're pulling up Indiana Jones 5.
No, but that's pretty hype. That's pretty hype. But no. All right, guys. So we're gonna start with this, right? And as we begin this discussion, I want to say this. I find it very interesting and kind of intentional that Hot Toys released these final production photos and they did not show any photos of Loki without the helmet on. Now, if that, after we saw what the final sculpt looks like, if that wasn't intentional, like, dude, I don't know what is, you know, it's very clear. It's very, very clear that Hot Toys intentionally did this because they knew that this figure was better suited to have the helmet on. And I want to start by saying this before we get into this discussion. I do not hate this figure whatsoever. I have issues with some things, and we're going to talk about what issues we all have. But I think with the helmet on, I think he looks good. Is the helmet a bit oversized? I've seen all the motorcycle helmet memes. I saw one from Oilers the other day. Is the helmet a bit oversized? Yes, but I don't think you guys realize how common it is for things to be slightly out of scale with Hot Toys figures. I mean, we saw it with Stormbreaker. Look what happened with the Infinity War Stormbreaker. Marvel provided concept information to Hot Toys about the Stormbreaker, and it was super undersized when the Infinity War Thor was developed. And then we saw later they were able to change that after they saw what it looked like in the films. They're like, oh man, we gotta upsize that. So it happens very often. Do I think the helmet is terribly out of scale? No. But my main thing is with this, right? I thought to myself, like, I've had time to contemplate what I would have done with this. And I really have two solutions that I would have kind of devised. Number one, give us swap out hair pieces. That would have kind of fixed most people. Like, and here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about the hairline, and I get it. But at the same time, I've looked through a lot of photos, and the hairline really isn't that off. Tom Hiddleston, he has a high hairline in these films. He really does. Now, if you look at photos from, say, the Loki TV show, not as much. But if you look at a lot of the photos with him in this 2012 outfit, he does have a higher hairline. I think what it is the way that they styled the hair. It just makes the face frame very poorly. And because of that, it exposes that hairline to your vision more, and it makes it look off. It skews your perception of the character's face, you know? With that hair slicked back like that and no helmet on, all you're seeing is forehead. That's it. There's no volume to the hair. If you look at the photos of him as Endgame Loki, he has a lot of volume to the side of his hair. And you just don't see that with the helmet off because they decided to sculpt it slicked back as if he had the helmet on, you know? So, again, I wanted to preface the whole thing with showing you photos of what Hot Toys provided. Again, here, I don't think it looks bad. I have zero issues with the likeness of Tom Hiddleston here, me personally. I know some people may disagree with that, and that's okay. But me personally, I have no issues with the likeness while he has the helmet on. I think it frames the face well, and I think he looks fine. Again, the helmet is a bit oversized, but for me personally, I don't have any issues. But before we get into these photos that kind of were being circulated on Facebook, Lane, I want to hear your thoughts, and I want to go through the panel. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this figure as he's presented here with the helmet on.
I just hate the hair. That's my biggest thing. Same without.
Okay, so you're fine with how he looks here with the helmet on. If
I think the helmet
for
some reason the helmet does feel a little big, but if you watch like the original Thor with his helmet and that thing, the horns and the whole thing were super silly huge in that. I mean, this is what Loki's helmet. If you're doing a live action version of Loki's helmet in kind of more refined way, not exactly like the one we had from the Loki series, which that one was awesome to me. I love that Loki, but not 60s era looking costume Loki, or 70s.
Yeah, look at the classic Loki helmet. Yeah, it's way smaller. It's different.
This is more like keeping kind of the oversized helmet look, but like Loki had probably like 90s, 2000s kind of look, what he would have with a big old helmet. I think the costume, the tailoring on the suit, all that stuff looks good. I do think the facial sculpt is maybe an 8.5. So I think it's a B grade.
I think that's fair. I think
it's all right. Now, part of the issue I think you can have with this figure is just how goddamn long it took. Why did this take 2.5, almost 3 years?
Exactly, and I think
that's what's adding. Oh, here, let me let you read Carlito's comment first.
Well, so this kind of goes along with what we're saying, but Carlito said, "I think the Loki with the helmet on looks great. The way I see it, we only got a helmeted with this release. I don't think we would have the same criticism if the helmet weren't removable." Yeah. Yes.
Here's the thing: if the helmet wasn't removable, there would be just as much, but.
Right. The thing is, at the end of the day, yes, we all bought this for the most part because this is a upgraded version of the 2012 Loki, which in my opinion, for my personal taste, is the best look for Loki. I love the Ragnarok look, but I think for me, number one will always be 2012. Now, with that being said, though, this was marketed as an endgame release. We did see promotional photos with those handcuffs, with that mouthpiece on covering his mouth. So because of that, we should have been given options for both looks. We should have. There's no excuse for that, in my opinion.
What if they had given? Now, I don't know if it would have worked necessarily with this, but I mean, the big thing they keep telling you, though, maybe with the issue with the helmet, is the fact how careful you have to be you have to break it up into 2 pieces and stick it to his head, and you could, pull or cause damage to the, facial sculpt or paint apps. That's a minor thing to me, but.
And I'm glad you bring that up because, and we're actually, so guys, our boy Reagan from MRC Collection Ventures, he did already put up a video review of this. So we're going to watch that after we go over these photos. But I think part of the reason the helmet is a little too big is because of that. They gave us a little bit of breathing room to put it over the sculpt. I'm not too concerned about that with this one. It looks like it's a pain in the ass to put on. Even like MRC kind of struggling, and that dude's pretty good with this stuff. But
where you're not rubbing it against or anything.
Right. I don't think it's too bad. I really don't. And Hot Toys has had kind of years to develop that. Oh, new site with hot girls, everybody. We got to head over there immediately.
Yeah. I did want to ask you guys though. So and I don't know if it would have worked. It may have been made it more expensive to do this, but what if they had because I think the biggest problem is the stupid, it looks like it's a freaking Norsgadian like hat head with flat hair there,
right? So,
from this, what if they had included maybe like, like how the Captain Carter works with the removable hair? It has 2 different hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like the Snow Speeder Luke, how the top is just a magnet. It pops on, pops off.
Right. Or we talked about, Ryan, we talked about the perfect example of this, guys. It's an older figure, but the Alex Murphy from the RoboCop 2-pack, he has a little piece of hair sticking out at the back of his head, and the hair is removable to put the helmet on. Like, they've been doing this for years.
Yeah, I think that could have made the difference. Because I think, honestly, it's just you have that one hair that looks like, why is his hair so flat backwards instead of being kind of poofy and wavy on the sides of his head?
Exactly.
That I think, because I think the forehead feels naturally big in comparison to Tom Hiddleston's forehead. I think that's what's throwing off kind of the facials, at least from.
And that's my thought on it. Right. It's because
the forward view of it.
The hair is slicked back so much. It's how it's framing the face. It's framing the face.
He looks
very
like
poorly.
Anthony Hopkins in this photo.
He does. Hello, Clarice.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's pushed back so much, dude. It's like, dude,
that's just
classic. But that's
what I think is doing it, because with the outfit and everything, I think the outfit is fine. Obviously, I haven't watched Mr. C's thing because honestly, I wasn't super interested in this figure. I'm not I like Loki, but he's not one I would really buy a Hot Toy figure of.
Right.
Although this would probably be like the era that I would buy him from, like original Avengers, where he's the main bad guy of the entire film. That would be kind of the one I would get if I was going to. But I think everything about the figure seems good. It comes with decent amount of accessories and stuff. But is this one I would tell you, unless you had a lot of the end game or you were really attached to this version of Loki,
like Avengers 1,
kind of even if you didn't have a ton of figures, even if you were buying as a one-off or something, but that's your that's your version of Loki, or you love that movie so much and you want a Loki from that era where he was like the main bad guy, kind of, he had a time to shine, then this figure I think you can still get. But you might be able to wait, like you said. You might be able to get it because this one is definitely from a time not in the last year and a half where you have to worry about necessary wait lists and right away, kind of thing.
That's it. Yeah, that's
and
true.
There might be pre-order cancel.
This is a good way to put it there. It looks like he has too much pomade in his hair.
Yeah.
That's Dapper Dan Loki.
Do you think this one could maybe last a little while too, just because for how long it took for it to come out?
Dude,
because people might have canceled their pre-order, canceled their pre-orders and stuff just over time.
This one is tough to say because like we've said, it took 2.5 years for this one to release. And it's like, that tells me one of two things. It could go both ways. One, they're like, damn, we finally got this Loki out. Let's fulfill these pre-orders and be done with it. Or it could be along the same lines of all the other stuff that's been on pre-order forever. It could sit for 1,000,000 years. Am I still going to chance it? Yeah, I am. I'm still going to chance it and try to get a deal on this guy, but it's hard to say. I'm very uncertain with this one just because of how long it takes. It could be Vaseline, dude. It's got to be something strong. Like pomade was a good thing to say because some of those pomades, man, they'll hold your hair back in a thunderstorm.
That's why I said Dapper Dan.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So Ryan, I don't know if you want to talk about this photo yet, or if you want to share your thoughts first, and then we'll kind of get into that, because I know you have a lot to say in terms of this particular photo right here, which, guys, this photo is what started it all, this whole debate. And so there's going to be a lot that we have to say about this photo, and we're going to kind of break that down. But before we get into Ryan, real quick, guys, I just want to say thank you so much. We have 50 people in here. We really appreciate you all being with us tonight. You guys are absolutely incredible. I see a bunch of people subscribing. It means a lot, dude. I'm like at a high right now. I can't believe we're at 500. Like, I'm blown away, dude. I truly am. So I really appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart for being here, hanging out with us. I know we got football going on. There's other streams going on, but you guys are here with us. So we really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, if you're enjoying yourself here in the stream, consider dropping a like. We would really appreciate that. But enough self-promo. Ryan, I want to get your thoughts on this Loki. Obviously, I know what you think of it, but I want you to share it with the panel and kind of hear everybody's thought. Want everybody to hear your thoughts in the chat. Share with us your thoughts on this Loki.
Yeah, real fast. So I pre-ordered this thing back. So I started collecting Hot Toys June of 2020. My first Hot Toy pre-order was the Tony Stark mechs, the mech test. That's my very first one. Shortly after, this Loki was right there. So I had a pre-order, sat, waited, whatever. I ended up canceling it, and I used those funds. I just moved it over to another figure because I figured it's taking too long, whatever, I'm going to cancel it.
Right.
To me, it's hard. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm going to try to compile them because I'm not trying to give Hot Toys a pass here. Like, in my book, it's very difficult to give them a pass on this figure overall. And there's a couple of reasons why. To me, when I think of Loki, this is my definitive Loki from 2012, like that version of Loki. I know we have the version from the Loki show coming out. That sculpt looks sculpt. I actually was just looking at photos of it.
Ooh, we're gonna actually.
Yeah, I was actually.
I've got it. We're gonna talk about it.
Talking. I mean, I was actually, because what's funny? I actually have different thoughts about that sculpt now, because when that sculpt came out, I thought that was like a 10 out of 10. Like, that was unbelievable. But
one of the best, one of the best.
Yeah, looking at those photos though now, I'm like, oh, all right, it could use some work actually, and I hope it does. I mean, I'm looking at it now, after I haven't seen it for a few months. But that being said, I think that actually might compete with this one, where I don't think it's going to sell out right away. Now, if it goes blue screen, yeah, I'm going to grab it. But I'm going to try to get it with a coupon, try to get it below retail. That's what I'm going to try to do.
How much steam has that Loki show lost at this point? Because look how many Marvel shows have come out since.
Well, that's the problem. Is Marvel kind of is its own.
They're watering it down.
They're kind of saturating the market with so much stuff.
Well,
it's
for them making their phases mean something, or figures or merchandise or whatever, you just get pumped, smashed over the head.
Yeah,
we thought it was that, like, they're releasing 3 movies in 1 year. Is that too much? Now they're like, now you get 3 movies and like 4 TV series.
Yeah, 14 TV shows. So, but like I said, yeah, that's, I don't think they get a pass. I can't give Hot Toys a pass on this, because this thing sat for 2.5+ years. If this was a year figure release, like Doctor Strange, like, this is where I can't wrap my brain around it. And now, don't be wrong, COVID, all that stuff. Listen, I work for a company. We produce stuff where we 99% of our stuff we have to get from overseas.
Right.
There's delays.
So you experience it first.
I get all that. Like, I work in the construction business, so I get that. Unfortunately, I can't grasp the fact that this took 2.5 years when Doctor Strange took 11 months.
And look at all he comes with. I mean,
I'm just saying, like, and I know, and that could be a very ignorant comment to say, like, well, I get that, but 2.5 years.
It's not, though, because it's like, what?
And this is what we got.
You know what I mean? This is a big figure, dude.
Yeah, it is. It was literally the end game. It was the last one to close out the series, and that's what gets me bothered. Is that sometimes Hot Toys, and I think you and I were talking about like topics for videos, and one of them I wanted to talk about was like things for in 2023. And sometimes Hot Toys, it's okay to borrow from yourselves. You know what I mean? Right. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but like you've done, if you had an issue, and we'll never know what the issue is, but if you had an issue with the sculpt, you've done magnetic hair before. You can swap it.
It's not a new. They've been doing it for years.
Technology from yourself, and you've done it before, and that's what gets me is that they do things on figures that are hit or miss. It's like, why couldn't you have applied it to this instead of that?
And this is going off your point. This is such a big figure. It really is. This is.
I mean, it for some people, this is going to be their Loki. Like, for me, this would.
Me too.
My Loki. Like, if I had a Loki, and and listen, I've watched enough streams. I've seen.
And this is fair to say too. This is towards you, Ryan. I think this is fair to say as well. I do think it's fair to say, but I understand Ryan's point as well. because they had 2.5 years to figure out the hair situation.
You could,
or you can use any other figure. I mean, use any other figure. I mean, I'm just Doctor Strange because it got released.
A lot of stuff is releasing fast right now.
Yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, you can use any other figure. That's fine. You can, but
what
most
about
of the figures.
Stomper? The Hyper Stomper was
a very complicated figure.
A big ass robot.
It's two figures, really. If you
get
the
set list before this guy.
So yeah,
but real quick, my other thing to talk about was, so like I said, with the figure, it's what it is, and the only thing, the sculpt for me, I give it like a 7. I don't think for me when I look at a head sculpt, like when I'm photographing, when I'm looking at a head sculpt, I try to look at it from every angle, left, right, up, down, center. And if I can instantly grab that likeness from any angle, that like a Yondu, you use Yondu. Like for me, still Yondu is that pinnacle sculpt. It really is. You could look at that figure from literally any direction and instantly you could see who that is. This one, you have to fuss with it. Like if I had this in my light box and was photographing it, I'd have to move it around to get the angle.
Right. You got to angle the chin, right? Angle the
head.
Yeah,
and that's fine though. And you know what? If this was a regular release that came out within 11 to 12 month period, I think we would be just futzing over the standard things that with any figure, and this is the same treatment that Cable got. Why? Because it took 2 years plus to come out. And,
right.
and not for nothing, like I could see the 1984 Wonder Woman. That's hitting like what, 2 plus. That was June of 2020.
And if that one's not spot on,
we're going to be having the same conversation all over.
Right,
again.
It's going to get hit the same exact way, and for good reason. And it's like, I don't know. It's like you said,
it's the why you'll never know. And there's other people too. There's just been a lot of comments filtering. Like one comment was, why did this even need to be released? Not for nothing. I don't have the original. When you do a 2.0, and I hear Denobi talking about that, it's a different body. It's a little bit bigger. There's a big difference from the photos that I've seen of the 2012 version. That looks like a baggy suit, like a cosplayer wearing it. This looks like there's something inside.
Exactly.
The suit,
you
like
can see the improvement.
Like this is a difference. And sometimes that's all you need is there's a difference to this. And that's a big deal for me. But yeah. And then that photo, we could talk about the photography side of it.
Yeah.
That aggravated the hell out of me too.
Right. So that's kind of what I want to bring up this video, guys. I showed you guys a few of the photos. And we're going to get everybody else's thoughts. By the way, what's up, Sean? Hot Toys Nightmare is in the building with us. Sean just scooted
what's
in
up,
here
children?
While we're talking about that.
What's up, man?
All right, Sean's out now. Sean's out of the building. He called us children.
Yep.
Get out of here. Yeah, get out of here. But no, so
pick me up and carry me out, baby.
I don't think anyone here could do that, Sean. I truly don't. Dude, I've been going to the gym for a few months now, like really hard, and I don't think I could even get close.
Wow. But so you have thought about it.
I thought about it. I really have. I thought about it, like how amazing would it be if I could cradle Sean like a baby and then like kind of just softly lay him into his bed at night. But then I realized like it's impossible because I wouldn't be able to do it. But
keeps him up late at night.
I know. I'm like staring at the ceiling. Could I pick up Sean like a baby? Right.
Hey, you know what? If that's what gets you to sleep, dude, you do.
Sometimes I have to. I put on a night light and just think about it. Kumar, I just want to say, guys, Kumar was one of our first subscribers here on Hot Toys Hotline. Don't think I forgot, Kumar. You were one of the first people in the Facebook group and one of the first subscribers. So you've been here since the beginning. I appreciate you, man. I can only dream of 1,000 right now, but that would be incredible. That'd be absolutely incredible. Yeah, so Tremble says he doesn't mind the delay. And for some people, they have so much on their plate. And I'm kind of getting to that point now with all these figures. You do tend to kind of put it in the back of your mind. You're like, damn, I want that Loki, but I've got this shiny new thing in front of me. So yeah, that does happen. I mean, some people just like, I don't, and to be honest with you, the delay was frustrating for me, but I wasn't like pissed off, just because there's so much other stuff, right? There's so much other stuff to occupy our wallets, there's so many, and look what's happening now. All this stuff is releasing and it's like, I'm scrambling to buy it now, I'm hoping for deals. Yeah, and everybody's talking about Cyborg in the chat. We're gonna get to Cyborg, but yes, Cyborg was delayed. And if you've seen the Snyder Cut, dude, Cyborg is the GOAT. Apart from Superman, Cyborg is the GOAT in the Snyder Cut. So that's definitely a must-have if you like the Justice League. But yeah, so guys, we saw those photos, and we're about to get into Cigar's thoughts on this figure. But I just want to preface, I'm pulling this video up now. Again, this is from MRC. He has the figure in hand, and this is him unboxing and reviewing it. And I want you to remember those photos. And we're going to talk about those photos after we get the rest of the thoughts from the panel. But I want you to remember those photos as you're watching this video and kind of make your own opinion based on those photos. If you think to yourself how much lighting and angles and everything plays into your thoughts on a figure or your thoughts on a head sculpt. Just think about that as this video is playing in the background. And as we continue to talk about it, think about that to yourself. Because for me, after I saw this video, it was very eye-opening. I already kind of knew.
Same thing for me. I watched this like an hour before I got on here.
Yeah, it's very eye-opening, and it's like we're all aware on this panel, and a lot of you guys are smart in the chat. Where you're all smart. You guys know that this happens. You know that this happens. You know that people take these photos, and some people I feel like may do it intentionally. I don't know what their intentions are, but I see some of these photos. I'm like, dude, you took the worst possible photo known to man because you knew what it was going to create. You knew the stir it was going to create. So it's like, I feel like that happens sometimes too. It just, people like to get a rise out of people. Unfortunately, some people are like that. Yes, he takes very high quality videos. Like, I can't recommend him, guys. We're always pimping out MRC stuff. He is the sweetest guy ever. He does amazing content. We're going to have him on the stream eventually. I've talked to him about it many times. He's been a friend of mine actually before I even started the channel. He's been in the Star Wars Discord that I run for a long time. So I can't recommend him enough. That's why we're always showing his videos, because he does such a great job. But yeah, so cigars, I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this figure. I want to hear, and we've kind of briefly heard jokes here and there from you, but seriously, like, all things considered, do you think this figure is still a great figure if you subtract the unhelmeted look from the equation? If you put the helmet on, do you think this is a good representation of the 2012 Loki?
Okay, yeah, I got multiple things with this. With the helmet on, I think it does look like Loki. With the helmet off, not so much, just because of, you know, what we see with the hairline. And I agree, like Nate and I were talking about it on his stream, like they should have either done the magnetic hair, or they should have done two head sculpts, one that was helmeted and then one that wasn't. So that way they wouldn't have tried to have created the hair to fit the helmet type of deal. With the helmet, they could have gone the Snowspeeder Luke and had it break into two pieces so you could clip them together without the fear of paint rub. But at that same time, look at Golden Armor Wonder Woman. People said when she didn't have her helmet on, it didn't look like Gal Gadot. But then when you put the helmet on, it gives it more of the look for Gal Gadot. So it could just be the helmet type of look. And let's see. So the weight. Everybody forgets that there was first batches of this figure. Everybody seems to forget that there were people who got their first batch of this Loki about a year ago. So that shows you something happened with the second batches, whether maybe in transit, it was one of the containers that actually did fall off the boats during those storms where they lost a bunch of containers. So they had to go back and redo it. That takes a lot of time, given the circumstances going on in China with them working skeleton crews of skeleton crews. That's going to back them up, slow them down to get those figures remade and then sent out. So that could have been the delay. Plus, even if it wasn't, look at all the delays in China, given their situations that they have. Constant lockdowns for no reason. People being told they couldn't go to work. Factories being shut down. That's going to cause delays. But the biggest thing, like I was saying, is there was a first batch of this. So the people who ordered this and got their first batches, they got them about a year ago. So it's not that this figure was 100% delayed 2.5 years. There was something that happened that caused it. So yeah, I'm willing to give Hot Toys a pass on that, because there are things that happened that was obviously out of their control. It's not like they said, hey, we're just going to sit on this for 2 years and then dump it on you guys. No, it's plain to see that because of the first batch being released, because I remember there were streamers who had them, who got the first batch of this Loki, and they were putting it on YouTube. People seem to have forgotten that.
So, yeah, I had never seen that. I had never seen. I remember people got emails. I know people got emails from Sideshow, but then it ended up being a fluke. So I didn't know people actually got.
Yeah,
this
no, there were
in
people
hand.
who got the figure. So, but they were getting it from Hong Kong, from the Hong Kong resellers. But there was a first batch that came out. So I'm like I said, but there was multiple reasons that this could have been delayed. Now, will I give them a pass on that hair? No, I'm not. You know, but at the same time, like, they might have designed it because they weren't thinking of going all out, because this is an older figure. It's a 2012 figure them redoing. They probably didn't want to go all out, because at that time they had their plate full with nonstop pre-orders, because this was during the lockdown. So that's when there was pre-order after pre-order after pre-order, and everybody at that point was literally collecting pre-orders. So they probably were just trying to get this figure out, doing what they could to update it, and then they weren't even thinking of, hey, let's go out with a helmet and do a 2-piece, or let's fix that hairline. I think what it was they were backed up and trying to get what they could out to keep consumer demand going during the worldwide lockdown. So
Right.
they just tried to do the minimum. Like let's get it to where the hair is decent, but the helmet fits on there, and then let's get this figure to go for the consumer.
Yeah, and I think they assumed too much that, and they know that most people that purchase this figure are going to have the helmet on, but you can't assume that and think that people are just going to give you a pass if you disregard the non-helmeted look.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, the sad thing is this hair does look good in terms of detail. It's very finely detailed. I think they did a great job in terms of the sculpt. It's like, how difficult would it have been to do a swap out hairpiece or another head sculpt? I mean, this isn't a cheap figure. They could have squeezed it in there. Would it have hurt their profit a little bit? Sure, but they make enough money off of these figures. They could have certainly given us an additional head sculpt. It wouldn't have hurt them that bad. They've done it before. They've done it with other figures before. I mean, they've snuck extra accessories in, but that were like announced when the figure. Perfect example: Armorized Deadpool, Mysterio. They gave us a head sculpt. They have given us stuff after the fact and didn't charge additional money because it was already on pre-order. So like they could have absolutely done a second head sculpt, and if they did it with a helmeted sculpt that was separate, it wouldn't have cost them that money because they wouldn't have had to do a full sculpt. They could have just done like kind of the front of the face and the neck, and they would have been fine.
Yeah, no, that's like what Nate and I were talking about. They should have, like you were saying too, magnetic hair, or just given us 2 head sculpts, a helmeted one, and then one where his hair is. But if you look at the photos, like he's got the slick back hair, right?
Right.
You see it in the movie photos. I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to give it, because he's got thin hair. So I think they were trying to give it that thin hair, slick back look. I don't think that they were able to capture it the way that they wanted to, and this is just the end product.
Right.
So maybe, I mean, there's so many what if factors, but then, like I said, you got to look at the time when they were making this figure. There were circumstances and situations that did happen that might have been out of their control. Because let's say that it was on one of those boats that got caught in the storm and it lost the containers and it went to the bottom of the sea.
Right.
Let's say, that was what? Let's say 10, 15,000 figures that they had to go back and redo while still getting out all these other pre-orders that have been announced since this figure was on a boat on its way to.
Yeah, that would have sucked for sure. If that was actually a thing, yeah, that would have sucked.
And then you got to think, what if the factory that was doing this was one of the factories that got locked down?
That's true.
Also stopped it too. And then what if it was and then shortly after that, it could have been, oh yeah, we locked the factory down, but now we're locking down your city, so nobody's going to work. So there's another thing that's going to slow them down.
Right.
Yeah. There's too many factors we don't know. But we do know one thing is that there was something that happened that caused the delay.
True. Very true. Yeah, so Tremble, again, I have not seen anything about this first batch that Cigars is mentioning. If you could find something on YouTube or Cigars, if you have a link, we could check it out. But I do remember like about a year ago, people got shipping notifications from Sideshow, but then they basically got goofed and the Sideshow was like, never mind, you're not getting it. So that's the only thing I personally remember. I'm not saying Cigars is wrong. I just don't remember that,
I'll look for it because I remember seeing the video and I was like, oh, you lucky punk. You got the damn Loki before everybody else.
Was super excited because obviously they had been waiting a while at that point too.
Yeah.
Evangeline Huntress, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you.
Because I even watched the damn video of them like having it.
Right.
So
see. I never saw that myself, but so Lane,
it wasn't like any of the major creators that we're used to seeing.
Probably just some people from Hong Kong that just happened to throw a video up. Gotcha. But yeah, Lane, I kind of wanted to pull you in here because you had brought this up earlier about putting the helmet on. Overall, it doesn't look like it's too bad in terms of rubbing the paint. It does look a bit difficult. You can even see. Let me go back a little bit.
If you like, you're having to.
He like left half of it off.
Yeah, exactly. As he was putting it on, he's like, "Oh, damn, that didn't go on that easily." And then he had to kind of pan off camera and click it in. And when that, guys, as a YouTuber, I could tell you, when that happens, that means it's kind of difficult to do on camera, and you have to go off camera and do it. So my my Vaughn review, for example, it's actually uploading right now. In my Vaughn review, I was putting that antenna on the shoulder, and that was a pain in the ass. So I had to do the same thing. I had to go off of camera, finish putting it on. I partially put it on camera, but I had to finish putting it on because it was difficult. So that's what that tells me. It is a bit difficult to put on. Go ahead, Lane.
Well, I mean, yeah. It looks. I mean, I mean, the problem is most of the time the outfits, costumes, whatever, look good, tailoring, stuff like that. So it's hard. You can't just say, well, the outfit looks good, even if the sculpt isn't great 100%, because they usually 95% of the time all look good. I think overall the figure, like, you can see such a difference with the forehead having the big rise.
This looks awesome, dude. That I don't know his name because I'm not too good with Transformers, but that like gorilla Transformer,
Optimus Primal.
Dude, I'd buy a figure of him in a heartbeat. He looks amazing. I'm a king. I know, guys. I know it's sacrilege, but I like King Kong over Godzilla. So that's so cool to me. But go ahead, Lane. Sorry, I just had to bring that up.
Well, hey, I was a big Beast Wars fan. Do I have a whole lot of faith in that movie? No. But man, he still looks really weird with that stupid mouth guard and stuff like that over his face. It just looks really strange.
I mean, I just don't know. And Zombie, I haven't personally seen the seams on the hand, so I'm trying to see if I could see it in this video because I saw you brought it up. He's saying that there's a pretty bad seam line on the staff holding hands.
Yeah, there's a photo circular once again.
Yeah, there's supposed to be. I know they were pointing out the other day too, like the staff holding hand, the thumb figure.
Hold on, I'll send it to you.
Like really weird.
Let me tell you this.
I'll send it to you. Hold on, give me a second.
Let me tell you this, guys. You want to know? Fun fact for you all, especially if you're a Star Wars collector. One of the biggest Grails has really bad seam lines on some of the hands. Take a wild guess which one it is. I'll give you guys 10 seconds in the chat to guess which one it is, and then I'll tell you. But it's one of the biggest Star Wars Grails, and it has really bad seam lines on the hands. Luke? No. And when I first got it, I actually thought my hand was defective. But then I had gotten two at the same time. I received two at the same time, sold one to a friend of mine.
And Solo?
No.
Tarkin?
No. Tarkin's up there as one of the biggest Star Wars Grails. It's from A New Hope. I'll tell you that.
Leia?
No.
Obi-Wan?
Yes. The Obi-Wan Kenobi, believe it or not. There's a hand in that set, and it has a line just straight down the kind of webbing of his hand. And I thought my hand had a defect. And until until I actually got that other one and saw that the hand was exactly the same, I didn't realize that it wasn't a defect. So I don't know how many figures actually have that issue. Yep. So this is exactly I'm so glad that you sent me this, Cigars. This is exactly the thing that's on old Ben. Exactly. It's right by the webbing of his thumb. Yep. This is the exact. So my assumption with this is that it's some sort of relief so that there's pressure taken off of the hand over time. That's my guess, because I don't see why that would be a mold line, being that it's in that certain position. That's my guess, though. Obviously, that's not fact. That's simply a guess, but that's my assumption. Is this is like a relief in the hand? Whoops. Keep talking. I got to pull this photo up. Hold on. I have to save it. But yeah, the old Ben figure had the exact same thing, and it just happened to be the lightsaber holding hand. My hot photo here. Man, they're coming in a lot tonight. We don't ever get the Tinder bot. You know we're doing well if we got a Tinder bot in here. Let's see. Zombie says you can see it in this video when he's removing the hands from the box. Was that in the very beginning, Zombie? Let me pull this up while we're. Let me see. Did he remove the hands in the very beginning? I literally wasn't paying attention because I was too busy talking. Let's see. MRC, where'd you take the freaking hands out of the box? It had to have been in the beginning. Here we go. Oh,
there it is.
There it is right there.
On both of them.
Well, it's pretty obvious when you're actually looking at the screen. I guess I don't have to show Cigar's photo now, but yeah, Cigars showed me a photo that was very clear as well. But you could see it here clear as day. But yeah, I don't have the lightsaber in old Ben's hand right now, or I would literally take the hand off of his body. But I'm telling you guys, it's basically the exact same thing. And that's what I'm saying. I wonder if this is like some sort of relief in the thumb because they know it's going to be gripping that staff type.
The
I don't
thumb
know.
is all kind of distorted in size. It looks like some sort of weird anime figure thumb or something.
Right.
Like
they call it Buzz Lightyear hands.
Yeah,
right. That's what it looks like.
Weird.
It's his gloves.
It looks like someone, you put the thumb out and someone smashed it with the mallet, and it was all extra big and floppy.
Yeah, so this is really weird, but it's nothing. It is definitely weird, and I don't know the reasoning behind it, but it's nothing new. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. How dare you rub it in my face that I don't have this Thor? They look good together. They really do. That's what I'm saying, dude. Some people might be buying this. That's what we're saying, Payton. I'm not 100% certain. My guess is that some sort of relief in the thumb because he's going to be gripping that staff over time. I don't know if that's actually a seam line just because it seems like too intentional, the placement. But I'm not positive.
Never put anything past Hot Toys, man.
That's true. You never know. But Sean, before we move on from this Loki, I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on the whole situation. And also I want to get Ryan's final thoughts on the situation with that photo that was being passed around. But real quick, Sean, I want to hear your thoughts on this Loki and kind of what's your take from this whole situation with not only the criticism, but kind of like the mass amount of hate towards Hot Toys because of this figure.
Well, I mean, the hate is because of how long it took for it to come out. Not to mention, there's people in the community that want that drama coming out. So they'll choose the worst pictures of something and post it. And then it looks great with the helmet on. I think the motorcycle helmet references that people have been taking pictures next to is actually kind of funny.
I thought it was funny too. I like memes, dude. Even if I don't think they're 100% true, I thought it was funny.
But I mean, let's look at why people are mad. Okay, it was delayed 4 different times. It was supposed to come out between October and December 2021. Then it got delayed to January to February 22, then March to May 2022, August to November 2022, then November to December 22. And it was finally released on November 28th, 2022. I mean, this thing was announced back in like June of 2020.
So it's been a minute. It really has been a minute.
Yeah, but I mean, and C&B is right when you look at how long it took. People getting the orders stating or the notices from Sideshow, hey, it's coming. And then nothing at all. I think it was Doc Smizzle who saw some doc report that showed the item number or a manifest. He saw a manifest for a ship.
Yeah, those get posted a lot.
One of the cargo ships that had that stuff. And, Doc Smizzle pointed that out. To me, with the helmet, it looks good because I'm only going to put it with the helmet anyways. And I'm fine with that. The tailoring, Denobi's review of this, where he was going off of the pictures compared to the original one that he has.
Right.
There's so many more improvements.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I even went back and looked at photos myself.
They did a good job. I just won't take the helmet off. I had no intentions of having it without the helmet off anyways. So I'm good.
So you're kind of right there with me. You're like, I'm fine with it with the helmet on, and kind of Ryan's sentiment as well, where it's like, I'm going to display it with the helmet anyway, so this is perfectly fine for me, but we don't think that the decision they made is acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, at least for me, I don't find it acceptable that they just kind of left it at this, just because I feel for those who maybe had the intention to put this in an endgame display. So because of that, I have to kind of deduct some points, because they made that decision. But I understand what you're saying. I really do.
I mean, is it 100% like perfect 10 out of 10 for me? No, it's not. I think the helmet's colors are a little bit off. It looks a little bit too dark compared to what we saw in Thor and the first Avengers movie.
Right.
It looks a little bit off, but it's good enough for me. And that's really my take. It's not shit, and it's not, it's kind of like, in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's like, I may be a jerk, but I'm not a dick.
Right.
Why is it? Do you believe him? Well, I don't think anyone's 100% of a dick.
Let me. So I want to pull these photos back up because so Ryan is actually a photographer. Ryan, do you do it as a trade or you just do it for fun? Like it's like a hobby for you?
I went to school for photography. So I went to school many years ago. I don't do it as a profession anymore because I fell into retail, paid the bills, and obviously I'm doing the opposite of like everyone else. I go to I have an art degree and I do directly the opposite of that. So
right. So I just wanted to preface that because we're going to hear.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to set everybody up to say, listen, I'm not going to claim, I'm a professional. I make money all this. I do photography on the side. I went to school for it. So I see, like, for me, when I look at photos, my mind, obviously, I think I look at things a little bit differently. And so when I see the hot toy photos, that's why this goes back to my point. When I get a figure, like, I know I'm getting this figure. It didn't matter really what it was because I knew I was displaying it like what everyone else said with the helmet on. So that was my perception. It was done. I'm getting the figure. So when Hot Toys releases promotional photos, I think I said this last night on Nate's stream, the goal is to get them for you to buy the figure. We can't. I used the analogy last night. We can't test drive a figure like a car, where we say, well, let's take the figure home for 3 days and see how it looks in my lighting. And then I'll decide if I want to keep it or not. We are making the assumption of buying the figure if you're on the fence based on other people's reviews and photos. That's just what it is. Unless you're dead set like an Iron Man, like every Iron Man, I'm going to get him regardless. But like this Loki, I was always going to get it. But when I saw this photo, it was like the first thing I thought was, I mean, obviously I don't think the intention is what it was, but when someone gets this in hand being the first one, boom, they're taking their phone out. That literally looks like a photo. Someone just took out their phone, snapped the photo, put it right online and let the world eat it up for what it is. I think that the photo does misrepresent a lot in this photograph.
Quite a bit.
It's blood that, and I could see people, I don't want to name, but I've seen people like at the very beginning seeing this bashing Hot Toys, all this stuff, and then they started leaning on, well, the photo is a bad photo, they kind of softened the blow a little bit where, there was all outrage. And then they realized that, well, the person took a bad photo. Yeah, this isn't the best photo. You got to let it like kind of get out there and get like the review that you saw. Like that's a review that totally changes your perception on the figure, that it's not as bad as what this photo makes it to look like. Like the sculpt to me, I don't see Tom Hiddleston in this photo. I see a likeness to him. The sculpt is okay. And the hair does look pushed down, but when you see it in a review, it does look different.
Right, in proper light. And you and I talked about this. It's like a lot of people are very quick to jump on this like kind of like meme hate bandwagon stuff lately with Hot Toys, where it's like perfect example, guys, Cable. Cable got crucified to no end when people saw that body. And we talked about it here on the panel many times. That figure got crucified, absolutely crucified. And people were talking about, well, it took this long and this is what we get. The body's too skinny. It looks like he needs to go on a diet, blah, blah, blah. Or it looks like he needs to bulk up, blah, blah, blah. And the figure arrived in a lot of collectors' hands, including myself and Lane and many other YouTubers. And everybody realized it's not a bad figure. It's actually quite an excellent figure. It really is. And that's why, and I'm on record, you guys can go back and watch the stream when we talked about Cable. I'm on record saying I didn't think it was going to be that bad. And it wasn't. It truly wasn't. I got that figure in hand, and I hate to say it, guys, that's one of my top figures of this year. It really is. Because
I was just willing to wait for it so I could buy it for like half price.
Yeah.
But that's what I waited for.
One thing to really touch on real fast, because I heard CMB talk about it, the golden armor Wonder Woman figure. I just got that 2 days ago from
that one got crucified hard too.
Oh yeah. So I did a review on it. I'm actually not to shamelessly plug, but I have a review I'm putting up tomorrow on it. The reason why though, and I think I even actually I have to go back and like listen to my review. I think I even said it while it like slipped out when I wasn't intentionally thinking about it. It just came out like from the photography side of me. I just said it while I was on camera.
Right.
I was filming it. It was on my tripod. I'm filming it and I'm talking. and I'm watching the figure through the lens of my camera, it looks nothing like Gal Gadot. It looks nothing like her, like on the camera. And I think I actually remember myself saying, like, wow, it looks like, and I look up in my light box, and sure as heck, it looks like the figure. It looks like the character. And I'm almost positive, 99% sure, I say it on camera, like at one moment when she's in full wings, helmet on, everything. I think I make a comment that says, yeah, I'm looking at it through my lens. It doesn't look like her. You look at it in person, it looks just like her.
And that happens sometimes. It really does. I've received figures in hands and I've been completely blown away. And admittedly, when I first saw that Wonder Woman 84 golden armor, I kind of agreed. I was like, that sculpt looks really soft in photos. Yeah. And I saw a lot of photos where it looked really soft.
And and I held off for a year buying that. I didn't buy that for a year.
And now that it's on an insane discount, it's making a lot of people rethink it, you know?
I got that, and I couldn't be happier with the purchase. I paid $120 for it.
Right.
And even besides the money, it looks fantastic in person. And like I said, if you watch the video, I watched the video. I think half the video, it doesn't look like her, which is a shame. And I try to say that, like, don't let this video, like, I'm not trying to hurt on I hate the figure, like, don't buy it. It's just that it stinks because it's hard to, some figures are just hard to photograph. They're hard to, and then like you said, there's a reason why when Hot Toys updated the photos, they didn't do it without the, they didn't take the helmet off. They knew.
Like, how often, think about this, guys, and I'm going to address, don't worry, guys, I see your comments. I'm going to address them here, and I'm going to address this comment here from OG, but how often does Hot Toys leave accessories out of final product photos, or a full head sculpt, even showing the full view of the head? How often does that happen? Not very often. So I think they knew that the decision they made was going to have repercussions. So that's why they left it out. Was it smart of them to do? Not really. I mean, because it's like, you're not going to hide that from anybody. The people in Hong Kong had photos up within 30 minutes, So it's like, you're not going to hide that. So it was a very interesting move from Hot Toys, in my opinion. Definitely one that I'm not a fan of. You guys know we love transparency here, not only from ourselves, but from these companies that we purchase from. So that was definitely a little, ew, what is that picture, CM?
Did I not say, though, that was one of my things about Hot Toys for... Did I not say that was one of my things for Hot Toys for next year is more transparency? It's almost like a celebrity scandal. Do you want to get ahead of it yourself, or let it get leaked out and then you play the after?
Right. It's like the celebrities that post the nude pictures in the
yeah. It's like Hot Toys should have just taken the helmet off. And honestly, they have professional photographers that do heck of photos. They should have taken the helmet off and just attempted their best to take one or two shots and then just lived with it.
They did it with Cable. They knew that the body looked a little skinny without the gear on.
Yep.
Now, would I ever display him without the gear on? No, because it does look skinny. But again, it's like, if they made his body thicker with all of the gear on, the proportions would be off. You have to, and OG, don't worry, we're going to address your comment. But going along with what I'm saying, Hot Toy Collector is kind of hitting the nail on the head. He said he thinks us collectors have to learn to be patient, to be fair. A lot of things are affected by poor photography, poor lighting. I think it would be better if you have it in hand before any judgment. And that happens a lot. And I've been guilty of it in the past. And I've kind of grown as a collector to try to be more fair with stuff. And I think I kind of pride our stream with that, where I think we're very fair with stuff, and we try to take all factors into consideration before we say so. Even with the in-art stuff, guys, I think we've been very fair with the in-art stuff, and it's easy when you're on both sides of these arguments to really jump in and attack the other. But I do think you have to give credit where credit is due, but also you have to be constructive with your criticism. Again, with this photo here that we have, this was ridiculous. It really was. It's like, this photo was posted, and every single thread you didn't see, for the most part, within the first hour or two, you saw no constructive criticism. More garbage from Hot Toys. Hot Toys is losing it. Hot Toys is giving up. Like, that's all the comments I was seeing, and it's like,
and you know what's worse too is that, not to try, I don't mean to, but
no, go for it. Go ahead.
No, but anybody that attempted to quote unquote save it by saying other things about, like, one thing is, it is a hard figure because to me it's a 2012 Loki. Right. It had the helmet. That's how I'm displaying it. But it was released under the Endgame banner, and there was one scene when he had the locket over his mouth with no helmet on, holding the chains. So it's like, yeah, it is hard, that it's displayed kind of in two ways. But that's what got me, is that everyone that was bashing this photo, anybody that tried to save it by saying, like, listen, it's more than just that. It's a 2.0, better tailoring, better this, better that. they got thrown under the bus like, oh, you're giving Hot Toys a pass. You're giving Hot Toys a pass. But the reality is it is a 2.0. It does have better tailoring. It looks like someone's in the suit based on the photos I saw versus the old version, which looks baggy. So there is a difference to this figure, definitely 100%. It's a legitimate 2.0 in my opinion.
Absolutely. And yet Tremble Dust, it's a lot of times if you look at a figure, now obviously there are some figures you can look at the photos and you're like, that's garbage. Like perfect example. When I bought that 3011 from Stranger Things, I knew that figure was going to be garbage, but I bought it knowing that. But it's like, with this figure, again, we're not excusing the issues because there are some blatant issues and we've discussed those. We're not excusing the issues. There's no excuse for it. And I kind of want to bring up Ekwan's comment because I don't know if you were here earlier when we were discussing this figure in more detail, but we did say that 2.5 years for this figure, they should have thought about an alternate option for this hair. They should have. That should have been part of the conversation. And again, we mentioned earlier, they've added additional accessories in the past recently, and they didn't charge us more money. We got a head sculpt with Mysterio, a whole head sculpt of Jake Gyllenhaal. Recently, with the armorized Deadpool, we got that new punching arm. So it's like they've done it in the past. It wouldn't have cost them as a company that much to give us an extra hair sculpt or even an extra head sculpt. Because with the helmeted sculpt, again, it doesn't have to be a full sculpt. They can work it out where it's kind of like a faceplate and a neck, you know? They could have done that. So, and Hot Toys Collector, that's what we're saying. I mean, I agree with you. I think with the helmet, it looks pretty good. I would agree with Lane. He said about an 8.5 on the head sculpt. That's accurate to me with the helmet on, of course. With the helmet off, it drops down to like a 7 maximum for me. But again, me personally, yeah, right. So we kind of all share the same sentiment. But me personally, it's like I'm not going to display it because this is my 2012 Loki. I love the 2012 looks. You guys have heard me many times talking about the Iron Man Mark 7. The Iron Man Mark 7 is the ultimate Iron Man armor for me. That's my favorite Iron Man. And here we go. We have Ryan rubbing in everybody's face. There he is. But it's a beautiful figure, guys. It really is. And it's a beautiful suit of armor. And it's like the first Avengers film is what got me sucked heavily into Marvel. Like I was already kind of there, but I got sucked in after that first Avengers film. So to me, having this 2012 Loki is really, really awesome. And I'm really glad that I have a 2012 Loki representation. And this is the ultimate Loki to me. And I do want to bring up this Loki because obviously this is something that is on the horizon that we have to compare it to. And I want to kind of get your guys' thoughts on this one. And Ryan kind of said that he thought this head sculpt needed work. For me personally, I can't agree with that just because you had shared when you first saw it, you're like, dude, this is a 10 out of 10. And I look at this head sculpt and I'm like, dude, this is like
there's like one or two other photos though, just from the angle. I don't know. Like I'm having it's hard. Like,
and hey, that's your opinion. I'm not trying to, I'm just saying
was,
for me, I'm looking at it, dude, and I'm like, this is Hot Toys perfection right
like
here
that
in terms
one,
of the head sculpt.
Yeah,
now, this is a prototype. Anything could happen, but I did want to bring this one back up, and I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on it and everybody else's thoughts. And in comparison to this new Loki, do you guys think because of the issues that people are having with this Endgame Loki, do you think this might become the definitive Loki? Or do you think like, no, it's not iconic enough of a look, and it is very specific to the Loki TV show to where people are going to be like, you know what? This isn't my definitive Loki, but I respect the work that's been put into this one. Me personally, I don't see this taking over that definitive spot for people because, again, it's like when you think of Loki, you're thinking of Loki, the master of mischief. You're thinking of his Asgardian armor. You know, this is a different side of Loki that we saw with the TV show. So me personally, I don't see this taking over in terms of the definitive Loki. However, I do think that if this prototype delivers, this is definitely, and I'm confident in saying this, that I think this will be one of the best head sculpts that Hot Toys has ever done. And I am fully confident in saying that if they deliver, because when I see this head sculpt, I'm like, dude, that is Tom Hiddleston shrunk down to 6 scale through and through. And I kind of felt that way recently also about the Reva head sculpt. I know everybody hates the character Reva, say what you will.
Is fire.
But yeah, that head sculpt of Moses Ingram is beautiful. It down to every last detail, the hair, the braids, like everything. It's incredible. And when I see this, I'm like, dude, this sculpt is beautiful, man. It really is. And it's like, I may have never considered to get this figure I loved this show, but I may have never considered to get this figure until I saw this head sculpt. Because I saw this head sculpt, I'm like, dude, like that, I have to have that, you know? And I don't know. For me personally, at every angle, I'm like, dude, that is 100% Tom Hiddleston. I'm curious as I go through the photos, if you like, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on like, maybe from here, I could see here, you're like, maybe it lost a little
That's
bit.
what I'm saying. There's certain angles that just look a little like the dead on shot, like the one, like there. The first photo where it was just his front face portrait, it looks dead ringer. There was a couple angles though that I thought were like a little bit, but nothing. What's interesting to me is that it'd be cool to see this head sculpt.
Right, Matt was just saying that, dude.
Because technically that 2012 is the Loki that goes into the TV show,
man.
So you could pop that head sculpt off and put it on the 2012.
That might be, dude. That might be the ultimate Loki right there.
That's the ultimate Loki version
because the hair has the volume that you're lacking. On that 2012 sculpt. That might be the ultimate Loki. Let's see. Tremble says that Loki looks good. Sylvie, though, yeah. I'm not even gonna try to do it. Ooh wee! She will be mine. Yeah, dude. Sylvie looks incredible. I'm really excited for both of them. This show really did blow me away. I have to be honest with you. I loved this show. And after having a chance to watch, the only one I haven't seen yet is Miss Marvel. But after seeing all of these shows, I can confidently say Loki was my favorite. I really can. I just think Agent Mobius, dude, loved him. Absolutely loved Agent Mobius. I love the whole concept of the film. We got to see Kang at the end and kind of get introduced to Kang into the MCU. So it's like, dude, this film or this show has so much potential. We know there's going to be a season 2. They're already filming it. So I'm really, really excited for a season 2. And again, I just wanted to bring this figure back up. We got some more stuff to talk about, so I don't want to stay on this Loki too much, but I just wanted to kind of remind you guys what Hot Toys is capable of in terms of Loki sculpts, because this sculpt to me is, again, this is like Hot Toys perfection right here. And I don't often like to make those claims about prototypes, but again, if this delivers, I'm going to be a really happy collector for sure.
It's up in Yondu status.
I would agree. And like, so guys, when we talk about great head sculpts and ones that we hold to the highest standard, we're talking about Yondu. We're talking about Grand Moff Tarkin. We're talking about our Alec Guinness Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hell, I'd even throw Hayden Christensen, that head sculpt in there. I'd throw that in there because I think it looks just like Hayden Christensen. Obi-Wan Episode 3, we can't say that, you know, because he has some issues with the beard, but I still love that sculpt. But this head sculpt will absolutely be in the conversation for top head sculpt ever from Hot Toys if they deliver. That's just my personal opinion. You guys, of course, have your own opinion, but I think it's going to be a banger if they deliver. Blackbird Tech, good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. It's always good to see you. Let's see. Ant P, good to see you, my friend. He said the problem with Hot Toys is they just don't communicate. And again, Ryan and I were just talking about this, like what we would like to see from Hot Toys in the next year. And I do think they gave us a little taste of it this year. And absolutely, you can't deny that they were pushed into that direction by InArt, because that was InArt's whole thing coming out of the gate is we're going to communicate. And to be fair, for the most part, they have. And Hot Toys has definitely started to do that. We've seen it. We've seen it with updates to the Wenwu head sculpt. We've seen it with multiple updates to the Batman figure. We've seen this. We even saw an additional post about the Loki sculpt. A lot of us weren't a fan of the decision they made, but they did make an additional kind of post about that Loki sculpt saying like kind of why that it took them a while. I don't think that's 100% the truth behind it, but they are starting to do that. And I hope that they continue to do that, not only at the level they're at now, but I want to see them improve. I want to see them improve beyond that. Hey, Hot Toys, if you want to hire somebody in the US, I know a guy, Hot Toys Hotline, dude, I will give the information to the people. But in all seriousness, hire somebody, more people in the US, send them this information, communicate with the fans. Like,
to be
these
fair,
figures are so expensive. Like, they need to communicate more. They really do.
They do communicate with Asia because that's their primary
right
audience.
Absolutely. So
we are their secondary. Everybody other than Asia is Hot Toys' secondary market audience.
So communicate with the US, I should clarify.
Because I mean, when people were mad about certain sculpts, if you went to the Asian forums, they were there communicating with people in the forums. The magazines that cover the collecting in Asia, they communicate through those magazines as well. They just don't communicate with Europe, and the US because we're not their main target audience. People forget that. Asia is their main target audience. To them, we're just a bonus. Their main focus is Asia.
Yeah, but where is their main money coming from, though?
No, you can't say that. All these people try to say, oh, well, they do Star Wars and they do Marvel. There's a huge following in Asia that follows Star Wars and Marvel and like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, all these lines. It's just a lot of people don't see it or don't even know about it because one, they've either never been to Asia, they don't live in Asia, or they don't really know a lot of Asian people that are really into it because they, like I said, because what I said, they're not there, they're not living there, they've never been there.
I don't know. I will say, regardless, they have an official distributor of their product in the U.S., so they do.
We give them the most money, but there are a lot of people in China that collect. There are a lot of people in Korea and Japan that collect. There's a huge population in Asia that dwarfs ours.
Wait. There's a huge population in Asia?
So for us to sit here and say, oh, well, we're their target audience when it comes to this because there's so many of us, there's a lot more of them.
Yeah, I'm not even going to make that claim. All I know is we have an official distributor in the U.S. for Hot Toys, and I would just like more communication for us as customers. That's all I'm saying. I totally understand that at the end of the day, they take care of their original target market first, which is Hong Kong and Asia, all of Asia. That's their original target market. That's where these figures are produced. So I understand that. I just enjoy getting updates on things, and it would make the lead times on some of these figures sting a little bit less if we knew what was going on. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say in terms of that conversation.
I agree with that too.
That's all I'm going to say in terms of it. OG, I just remembered to get back to your comment. So earlier, OG had mentioned, and I do agree, another head sculpt that's great is Count Dooku. That's a fantastic head sculpt. Christopher Lee, that likeness is very close to perfect in my opinion. Before we get into this clone trooper and we get into the talks about this possible new Anakin, I wanted to mention OG's comment. OG was saying, do you think that Hot Toys sometimes lets things slide to get releases out on time or get them out earlier than expected? And I mean, recently, not really. I don't think we've seen a lot of like corners cut, but there are some examples that I can think of where I'm like, they should have gone back to the drawing board on that one. And I could mention a couple right now. Bucky, I think the Winter Soldier Bucky, they should have gone back to the drawing board on that one, kind of mess with the proportions a little bit more. I think that was kind of a weak release overall. And also this Loki, again, they had 2.5 years. They had more than enough time to come up with an alternate solution for that unhelmeted look. And again, I don't want to act like we're making any excuses for that. I know we are praising the figure in some aspects, but there's no excuse for that. They should have gone back to the drawing board on that. They had plenty of time. And I'm very surprised that after all that time, they did not come up with an alternate solution for that. Because again, they obviously knew that it was going to upset people, or they would have not left that out of the final product photos. That detail alone kind of tells you where their mind was, in my opinion, with this figure. But yeah, so we're going to move on from the Loki, guys. I know it's a hot topic, but I think you guys kind of get an idea of what we think about that figure and what we think about the situation as a whole. Again, at the end of the day, guys, don't let negative opinions kind of sway your opinion. Make your own judgment. Even don't listen to our opinions as fact, take different opinions into account, but then kind of make your own decision based on some of the facts that you've been given, And if you guys watch that MRC video and you're like, oh, that kind of swayed my opinion, I think that figure looks good, that's okay, You don't have to hate this figure because everyone else does. But of course, we're always preaching that. I also wanted to say what's up to Don Prime. I hope you're doing well, Don. Good to see you, man. Don's saying Star Wars in Asia has only grown thanks to Mando. I think
that's not true.
I think Star Wars as a whole has benefited from Mando.
Well, they just got Disney Plus
there's
over
been
there
a huge
too.
There's been a huge following for Star Wars in Asia since the first movie. It's not as
though.
I think the best way to put it is at the end of the day, when we're talking about Hot Toys, at the end of the day, as a whole, the Asian market favors Marvel. But that's not to say that they don't collect. MRC is a perfect example. He's a huge Star Wars fan. like a lot of his videos are very Star Wars oriented. So, and Monica also, Monica collects a lot of Star Wars stuff, and they're not the only
and that's
ones.
what I was getting at, though. I'm saying
right.
You can't say that it only grew because of Mando, because that's not true. Because in Japan and Korea, there are huge fan bases for Star Wars since the first movie. You know, in China, I would assume the same thing. It's a very large country. You know, we may not know them, you know, other groups, but those groups have been around forever. Just like there's a huge Ghostbusters fan base in Asia. There's a huge Back to the Future fan base in Asia.
Well, there was Disney Plus did a report, and it was worldwide, showing like who was watching the most shows and everything from Disney Plus. You look at like Thailand, Japan, South Korea, and even mainland China. Okay, Star Wars: The Clone Wars was number one.
Yeah,
because they were watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So was Mando, and then followed, but the rest of it was all like Marvel movies.
And that makes a lot of sense because there's such a big animation culture. Because obviously, anime is huge in Asian countries. I mean, all the good anime shows are created there. So it's not surprising to me that their viewership favors the Clone Wars because of that animation style. And even if you're just a fan of that animation style, you're drawn to that kind of stuff because you're used to watching content like that. So I'm not surprised by that. And the Clone Wars is, if you guys haven't watched the Clone Wars, get through those first 2 seasons. I know they're slow, but it's such an incredible show. And Star Wars Rebels as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rebels the same way. You got to get through like the first 2 seasons.
Right. Once you get through the fluff, you're like, dude, this is getting good. But yes, I totally agree, Tremble. It really is the traps on Bucky that throw it off because Sebastian Stan's not a small dude. He's not a big dude either in terms of muscle, but I think they made him look a little too skinny for sure. But so we're going to get into this release, guys. This is another one. And honestly, like the 2012 Loki criticism makes a lot more sense than this one. When this one was originally dropped, people were calling this like the fat clone trooper and stuff. But it's like you have to think about this one, guys. This is obviously another 501st clone trooper, but this one is based off of the Kenobi show, where we have live action. We have actual people in the armor. So because they are actual people in the armor, if you've ever seen a cosplayer of a clone trooper, this is what they look like. It's a human inside armor, so it's going to look a little different than an animated body inside armor. And even, of course, even like our Captain Rex and our Commander Cody and those figures, those are translations from animation. So they have some of those aspects of the animated armor to them. They're a bit slimmer in some places. The bodies are thinner. So because this one is kind of like a translation from an actual person in armor, that's why you have this like thicker, fatter clone trooper. Now, with that being said, me personally, I don't want to get to that. Yeah, me personally, I think it looks good. Am I surprised by it? Is anyone surprised by this?
No.
I mean, they're reusing the same concept and just kind of elaborating on that concept and making it into something different. I
don't like the color.
We said it plenty of times on the Geeking Out stream that watch. They're gonna make the clone troopers.
Right, because it's like it's easy money. Now, to be fair, and Hot Toys credit, this is basically mostly new sculpting. It's new sculpting work because the armor is shaped differently in a lot of places, so they couldn't just reuse the mold. To be fair, we call it a mold reuse, but that's obviously like we're just like generally speaking, like it's an easy thing for them to make because they've made it before. But to Hot Toys credit, this is basically an entirely new sculpted piece. Sean was saying he doesn't like the blue.
Legs, if you look at the leggings, it almost like the knee pads. Those look like they came off the Purge Trooper.
Yeah, it's very interesting for sure.
So I'm thinking they used a couple of pieces from the Purge Trooper to get this armor, but you can tell it is different from the first 501st set that we got.
Yeah. But so obviously the elephant in the room, guys, and we're definitely going to talk about this, is so we got the release of this, right? But then we also see in these photos right in front of us another Darkside Anakin. Now, a lot of people have been dissecting this photo and saying like, oh, I could see the difference between this one and the original one. Me personally, I've kind of looked at it long and hard, and I can't definitively say whether this one has some upgraded features to it to where I'm like, yeah, they're doing another one. I can't definitively say that because once again, going back to our conversation about lighting and angles and things like that, when I first saw this, I got to be honest with you, I saw these tabards and I'm like, dude, that's not leather, or that's not pleather. That's a different material. But then I looked at the photos more and I'm like, it very well could be the lighting playing a trick on us, because here it almost looks like it's still pleather.
100%.
And that was the first thing I saw. I saw those tabards. I'm like, dude, this might be a new one. But when I look at it now, and honestly, it's hard to say, guys. And everybody was like quick to say, oh, dude, we're getting another one. Do I think it's likely? Yes, I do think it's likely. But can you go 100%? Can you look at this and 100% certainty say we're getting another one? You cannot. You cannot. No. We always have to look at We always have to look at history. Oh, and by the way, I'm so sorry, guys. Chris joined us about 5 minutes ago, and we were so sucked into the conversation, I didn't say what's up to him. So what's up, Chris? We got Collecting Madness in the house. Perfect timing because he's a big Anakin fan like I am. But so yeah, guys, we're talking about this Anakin here, and when I look at it, I'm like, I can't 100% say that this is what we're gonna get, because how many times have Hot Toys done this? Perfect example. We've seen Bespin Hand, the coveted Bespin Hand that we've all been dying for how long? We saw him in photos. Did we ever get him? No. Now, is this a sign of a possible release? Sure. But the weird thing is, in this scene, he didn't have the Sith eyes. So that's another thing that throws me off. I'm like, why would they put Darkside Anakin in this scene if there was no Darkside Anakin in the scene? Like, he didn't have those red Sith eyes in the scene. So it's like, there's not enough here for me to confidently say that this is another figure in this photo. I look at it, and for the most part, trust me, I've sat here and looked at it. I don't want to put anything out that's not true. I can't confidently say that we're going to get another one of these. Again, do I think it's likely, just based on the fact that this is a very sought after figure on the secondary market and it's easy for them to make, and they can make the excuse to make it again because of the Kenobi show? Yeah, it seems like a likely release because of all that. But again, just based on the fact that it showed up in photos, I can't confidently say that we're 100% getting this. Now, I put up a poll on my channel about this, and there was an overwhelming amount of people. I think it was something like 75, 80% saying, absolutely, we're 100% getting this. So part of that, I think, is obviously us being hopeful. Guys, I already own the first Darkside Anakin, but would I be over the moon if we got another one and I had an opportunity to buy another one or two more? Because honestly, I'd probably buy two more. I'd be over the moon. And not only that, it gives new collectors an opportunity to get a Darkside Anakin in their collection. So I wouldn't be mad at all. It wouldn't be something that made me upset or angry. I just am skeptical about it because I'm not seeing enough here based on the history of Hot Toys to be like, yeah, we're definitely getting another one.
I think we are, just because they went out of their way to make sure that he was front and center in these photos. If it was just 501st, like, the other 501st figures and other Clone Trooper figures, they only show them with the other Clone Troopers. Granted, this is a scene, but they could have just used the scene where Grogu had the flashback and he saw nothing but 501st coming. So why did they go out of their way to show you Anakin? Why did they make sure that he was front and center? Other photos, when they tease like Bespin Han, it's like a backside photo, the side, maybe just the leg, and things like that, where people are like, oh, that's Bespin Han, da-da-da. This, they made sure that Anakin was front and center.
I guess my counter to that is they also go to trade shows and show a bunch of their old figures off, which we know they're never going to release again. So it's like
that N1 crazy too.
I mean, so the N1, yeah, the N1 is true, but I think a better example would be the N1 or the Anakin Starfighter, because I personally think the N1 is very possible. I'm not saying this one's impossible. I just think I don't want to continue to get my hopes up for this stuff every time this happens, because they do this a lot to us. I mean, we've seen it with a lot of different characters, even like the Bespin Escape Leia. They've done it a lot. So I just don't want to get.
I saw it in the chats. People were saying, well, Anakin was a Toy Fair exclusive. So was Nightmare Batman.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
And Nightmare Batman came back. So
right, that doesn't matter.
Toy Fair exclusive does not mean that it can't get reissued.
It just probably won't have the base.
They just reissue it a different way. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see.
Look at it too. Like, for example, This clone trooper here is TMS 092. Okay, it's only been a handful of years since we got the first Duracell Mandalorian that was TMS 007. And now we're all the way up to 092. And everybody knows how when they hit the 100 mark for anything, Howard goes ape shit looking for something special to make the 100th TMS number. I mean, look at all the MMS 100s, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 600.
And Howard said Darkside Anakin was one of his favorite figures ever produced.
Yeah, and so it's possible that the reason why we haven't seen this yet is because it's going to be saved for 100. And if we don't see it for 100, is it still possible? Honestly, I'm 50-50. But looking from like a business perspective to make that 100 number for the TMS,
dude, I think it's going to be an Iron Man.
I think it would be Anakin.
Dude, I don't know. They're so like Howard has gone on record saying his favorite character is Luke Skywalker. So I could also see it being a Luke Skywalker too.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, Luke Skywalker and Iron Man are like my two thoughts for that.
Oh, because they did jump into Star Wars comics. What if they did Dark Empire Luke? Ooh,
dude, that would be cool. Or like a redeemed Darth Vader, like the all white. That'd be crazy, man.
Yeah.
But so,
for reusing stuff they've already done.
You know what? It's going to be diaper. It's going to be diaper Boba. It's going to be diaper Boba for one.
Don't put that in the universe, please, Sean, please.
But he will come. He will come with a back to tank, the mobile back to tank.
Oh,
you can fill up.
I'd take that. I'd take that.
Yeah, Black Chrysanthemum would be cool too.
I want Black Chrysanthemum, dude.
Do the underwear fight.
Yeah,
Sean.
With real child care needs.
All right, before you say it, Lane. Before you say it.
The Windu 2025 is coming, yo.
So Matt, so going off of Matt's point, he says Hot Toys has cleaned up their act with teasing stuff and not releasing it. BS, Matt, because where is Mace Windu? I don't think you, Matt, like we joke about the Mace Windu thing, but I don't think you realize how bad I want that Mace Windu
2025.
I don't think you realize how bad I want it. Hot Toys is absolutely not cleaning up their act because if they did, Mace Windu would already be out.
I don't think it's the fact that you want it so bad. It's the fact that you want to try and prove me wrong.
No, I want it, dude.
Why you're trying to
want that figure so bad. Like, trust me.
There's like a sideshow one for like $400 on eBay.
I have the sideshow one. I hate it so much. I took it out of my detolfs. I hate it, dude. It's hard.
Back in the box.
Yeah, right. It's going back in the box and getting sold. So if anybody in the chat wants to buy a sideshow Mace Windu, I got you.
$100.
Work Saber Masters.
Should I do it for $100?
Way better than that.
Dude, I'll give you $5 just to keep it.
I won't take that. I won't take that. Yes, in the DTOF, USB Saber would be dope. We've said it before. We really hope that they continue to release these figures with the USB stuff because it's a big step in the right direction. And that kind of goes along with like Hot Toys innovating on some materials. And Don had mentioned, which is a big plus for me, is Crosshair has on Hot Toys website was mentioned to have real leather on that figure. So if they're starting to throw real leather in the mix, dude, I'm gonna be there for that. And we all are. I mean, we hate the pleather stuff. It's a pain to deal with.
Real leather holster and real leather straps, if I remember correctly, Don was saying.
Yeah. It's going to be really special.
Does Darkside,
dude? Yes, absolutely. I promise you guys, I'll do it live.
Does Darkside have a the current one? Is his robe wired or is that a wire?
It does have some wire in it. Yeah,
like around his like the hood right now on this figure.
Yes,
is it wired?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't think it's this color nor that long for the hood. Like none of the Hot Toys hood are that big. Like over his head. I had to use Qui-Gon's to get that kind of look.
I mean, the thing is that they could have done the same thing, you know, they could, or it could be the lighting, or it could be that they have like something in their kit that they made for themselves, you know, it could be a prototype. We don't, there's so many factors. That's the thing that sucks. And
Clone Wars lightsaber, different robe, just grab the figure off the shelf.
That's the thing. Like, guys, Anakin is my favorite character in any film. Any film, he's my favorite character. So I would love to get you all hyped up and say this is 100% happening, but I have to be a bit responsible and not get all you guys hyped up about it if it's not going to be true. So that's why I'll go with Sean. I think overall I'm probably like 50-50. There's some reasons why I think it definitely will happen, just because it makes a lot of sense for them. It's an easy reuse of a figure. It's going to make them a lot of money. And this is a good opportunity to reissue this one, because obviously this would not be a Revenge of the Sith. If we do get another Darkside Anakin, it will not be Revenge of the Sith. It's going to be Kenobi, obviously. It's not going to have the lava droid base. We know that for a fact. And it's going to be branded towards Kenobi. So some people really love the fact that it says Revenge of the Sith on the box, and that's enough for some people to buy the Revenge of the Sith version, you know?
It should say Darth Vader as well if it's Darkside this time.
Right.
And then one more thing is, like, if they did do it, would it be 2 head sculpts maybe in this one, a light and a dark? Or do you think from the Kenobi show they use, like they did the Mandalorian Luke, having that head sculpt like of Hayden Christensen older? You know,
I don't think so. The reason he's gonna come
with Rava's dead friends. Oh,
Chris,
you know what I think it would be though is they wouldn't do 2 head sculpts with it. They want to max their money.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
One with the dark side yellow eyes and one without. That's what I think will happen. And
that would be cool. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, they'll do a deluxe and a standard.
Yeah, and then they'll do a third one later on with Padawan Anakin.
How dare you, Matt?
Yeah, but
yes, justice for BK, dude. I want that figure so bad, man, so bad.
They can do that too, though. Like the deluxe for Darth Vader, you get all those battle damage pieces or whatever.
Yeah, but even in the deluxe for Darth Vader, they made us buy 2 figures. That's the thing. When we look at Hot Toys marketing tactics, you're like, dude, they're not going to give us 2 sculpts for 1. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a business, man.
They're going to make exactly. They're going to, as much as I would love that, because that would be like the ultimate Anakin release. They're going to make it 2 figures. But here's my main thoughts too on this Anakin. Again, I'm all for it. If we do get it, I'll probably buy 2 of them. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll probably buy 2, truthfully. But what I would have preferred to see when I was watching Kenobi, I was so excited when we got that flashback scene with the Attack of the Clones, Anakin and Obi-Wan, because those are 2 figures that are a huge
That's what I want is Attack of the Clone.
Right. Those figures are a huge hole in a lot of our collections. I would love to have that Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting Dooku with Yoda in my collection. I would love it. Yeah. And I was really, really hoping for those. So is it still possible? Maybe. I mean, we're still seeing stuff trickle in from Thor Love and Thunder. We saw Gore the God Butcher a few weeks back. So it's very possible that they're still working on some stuff. And obviously for Kenobi, I think we're definitely going to get those other 2 Inquisitors. I think that's a done deal, just because they know it's going to be an easy sell. Is it going to be like Crosshair and Wrecker where it takes forever for them to release them? Maybe. But I do think there's potential for more releases from this film, or excuse me, from this show. But again, guys, I just don't want to get your hopes up. So I'm being cautiously optimistic about it, because I don't want you guys to think this is 100% happening, because you just have to look at Hot Toys history. It's not always the case, unfortunately. Again, with Best in Hand, that's why the Best in Hand thing is such a meme in the Hot Toys community, because it's like, you know how many people were flipping out, including myself, when we saw that tease? We're like, dude, we're getting Best in Hand. We're getting it. That's what everybody was saying. But now we've had some time to ponder, and we've realized that doesn't always happen. So
in the Endgame Loki photos, if you look at the Loki, they have him battling Thor on Avengers Tower.
Exactly.
I actually thought that gave the opportunity for a 2012 Thor reissue. I mean,
and they do that a lot. They do that a lot.
Yeah, they had so you never know.
But we'll see. Again, guys, I'm really hoping for it. Sorry we took so much from the clone. I do want to finish up talking about the clones. We do have actually a comparison between the 501st Deluxe / Standard figure and the Fat clone. But again, when you look at this, guys, and I believe the clones in this movie, or excuse me, in the show, were actually 501st members who were invited to dress up as these clones, which is really cool. But again, guys, you can see, and really, when they're next to each other, is it that much more chunky? Not really. It really isn't. No, but only from the front does it look a bit fatter here. Yeah, absolutely, they're cleaner.
I just don't like the blaster.
I see. That's the thing. That's another one of those things. It's either you love it or you don't. I actually do like the slim blaster because it's just a different look. It separates this clone from all the other 501st in your collection. Sean was mentioning earlier that he didn't like the color. I actually love this color. I really do.
I don't care.
I like that baby blue.
Yeah, right.
Baby blue.
For continuity purposes, it sucks because it doesn't look like the 501st blue. But in terms of just like aesthetics, I love it. And like you said, it's like a baby blue.
I think the final product's going to be darker.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess the final product blue will be darker because it's not. It's off. It's like even from.
That's what it was in the show.
I went back and looked.
I think it's accurate to the show, personally.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like the same color in the show.
It was that color in the show.
I think it was more realistic.
Yeah, because you can tell when
CGI.
That's what I'm saying, Ryan. Like these are actual people in the suit, you know.
So I like the newer blue because it looks realistic, like it was a real suit compared to.
The only reason I like the 501st standard blue because it's closer to the Clone Wars show, and that's where I found my love for the 501st. But yeah, I mean this new trooper is cool to me. It really is. Now, again, would this be like my ideal trooper release? No. I mean, we still don't have like ARC Trooper 5s, ARC Trooper Echo. Like when I'm thinking 501st, I'm like, that's what I want. If we're going to keep going down this 501st train, because it's going to dry up soon here eventually, probably. We're probably going to move on to another battalion, hopefully the 212th or the 41st, or Wolfpack, like even better. But yeah, me personally, I want ARC Trooper 5s and ARC Trooper Echo, and I'll be a happy camper. You can cut the 501st off there and I'll be happy.
I don't know about that because there's like.
I'm just saying for me personally.
I wish they would bring.
See, you already know Phase 1. I don't care. Like I'm not a big Phase 1 fan. I'm just saying for me personally, they could cut it off there and I would be happy. But I know a lot of people love the Phase 1. Me personally, it's just I look at the two and I'm like, Phase 2 just blows Phase 1 out of the water.
No, I mean I hate the helmet for Phase 1.
It's a little too big. Yeah, it's oversized.
Yeah, but I like look at Echo vibes before they were ARC Troopers.
Yeah,
they're.
Yeah, I love the original look of Echo.
Was good.
Of Echo with the handprint. That's really cool. The Phase 1 Echo and the binocs were like that reddish like maroon color. Definitely look really cool.
And then get a regular Jesse and not the ARC Trooper version of Jesse. That would be awesome.
That would be cool. Peyton, I agree. I do think now that Harrison Ford's kind of playing nice with Disney, I do think that opens up the doors once again for some Harrison Ford figures. And also Bespin hand. Yeah. And then he's also, and next year, even the Duster hand from Return of the Jedi. I love that look with the Duster. I would love to see that. So it does reopen the door. And also Harrison Ford is doing a signing, which he doesn't do very often. They just opened up the signing. It's a bit overpriced considering what you can get his autographs for on the secondary market. And that's like kind of a hole in my autograph collection. But Harrison Ford is kind of warming up again to fans. So it definitely opens the doors up for sure. Let's see what else we got. Oh, so guys, in this one, I'm very curious to see kind of where people are with this one. I know Lane has been kind of considering this one for a bit. Me personally, it will be one I pick up, but definitely hoping for a deal on this guy. And that figure that I'm talking about here is the Axe Woes. Now, guys, believe it or not, I think this one is going to start shipping.
People have already said they have already got it shipped to them.
Right. I think this one is going to start shipping either today or it's already started shipping today through Sideshow. So perfect timing for Bo-Katan. And I don't know, now that I'm thinking of Bo-Katan, I missed your comment earlier, Oilers. So if you're still in here, Oilers was saying that he was very pleasantly surprised about Bo-Katan when she arrived. So I'm really excited to get that Bo-Katan. And that's another one, guys. A lot of people got really upset about those single jointed arms for good reason. Because I think at this point, those should be a thing of the past unless they kind of have to work around like a robotic arm or something like we were talking about earlier. But I am definitely really excited for this figure only because I am excited to complete my Night Owls trio. And that trio that I'm talking about, for those that aren't familiar, is Bo-Katan, Axe Woves, and Casca Reeves. those three figures together are going to be such a huge shelf presence. And again, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian, it's kind of like a double trouble. You know, you're kind of getting two for the price of one in your display. So I'm really, really excited. It's a bit unfortunate. I should say it's very unfortunate that Axe Woes did not get a head sculpt. And my question that I want to pose to everybody in regards to that is, are you okay with this figure not having a head sculpt? And are you going to still pick it up even though the head sculpt was omitted from this figure? Or did the head sculpt not coming with this figure sway you away from this figure? That's my question of the day for Axe Woes. Me personally, I'll be the first to answer. It did not sway me away from this figure whatsoever, only because I would love to complete that trio. Personally, I'm going to try to hunt down a third-party head sculpt for this guy, just because I like displaying my troopers for the most part with the helmet in hand with the head sculpt on, so I can kind of display the full look, especially because the Night Owls take their helmets off very frequently, and that's a big plot point in The Mandalorian, because obviously Mando sees them, and he's like, oh, you're taking your helmet off? Because in his covert, they don't take their helmets off, so he's like, that's sacrilege, you're taking your helmet off. So to have them with the helmets off is important to me in my display, so I'm probably going to hunt down a head sculpt for this guy. But yeah, I kind of want to hear everybody's thoughts on the panel on this figure and kind of share your answer to that question that I posed you, and also people in the chat. And real quick before we get started on Brian, I wanted to say what's up to Enrolled Agent. And we have a new Hot Toys collector here, which we always love to see. Enrolled Agent says he just started getting into Hot Toys and he noticed that Jesse is on pre-order and really wanted to pick him up. Would it be best to pre-order, come out of the pre-order stage or get him after? So Enrolled Agent, my thoughts on that would be keep an eye on him. I don't think you need to rush to pre-order right now. Really, the rush to pre-order right now is affecting figures that have been on pre-order for about 6 months. They're newer pre-orders. A lot of these older pre-orders, Jesse's been on pre-order for about a year. I think you'll probably still have some time to pick them up for a deal. But again, definitely keep a watchful eye on it. If you don't follow the Hot Toys Hotline Instagram or Facebook, or you're in the Facebook group, I would definitely join those because we will update you on that stuff, especially our boy Matt in the chat. He's so quick to post that stuff. And also, I don't know if Kevin's in here, but Kevin in the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group, we're always posting that stuff. So I would highly recommend that as a new collector. We try to share the new information with everybody as soon as we hear it. So that would be my opinion.
I can definitely say the diorama this guy came with is lame as hell.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Again,
but
it's
it is
going
with
back
the
to that crappy
figure, so.
cardboard. Yeah, and the price point is fair for what you get, to be honest with you. But
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's $235. It's a true
in
price.
comparison,
That's what you can expect.
Yeah, I mean, but like in comparison to Captain Carter,
is it the same ship image?
It's I mean, for this guy, it really just depends. I mean, in comparison, I you know, do you like the color combination for the suit and the armor? Basically, that's you have to kind of decide with this guy if you like that or not. If not, or you just want I mean, I can't say it's necessarily less because I think they're about the same price. You could do a Death Watch.
Well, so that's what Zombie's saying. Zombie's saying that he wish he got this instead of the Death Watch, which I can understand because this is a named trooper and it's like the same price. So I do understand that.
Yeah, he's one I'm considering getting. It's like it's one of those
OG. Go ahead. Sorry, Lane. I was just laughing at his comment.
Nah, it's just I don't know if this is one of the with all the sea of stuff that's coming. This isn't one I don't know. I go like, dude, I absolutely got to have it, kind of thing.
It's underwhelming.
Yeah, it's
underwhelming.
Fine. You know, this might be if it's one you're interested in. You know, it might be a good one to I'm fairly certain the next couple of weeks will be in stock. This might be a good figure if you were going to ask, you know, for some from your significant other, or if you were going to ask maybe like as a Christmas present or something like that. This might be a really good figure to ask because, you know, it's not super ridiculously priced, you know,
right.
And, you know, if they give you funds when it comes in stock, which is probably going to be, I wouldn't be surprised before Christmas, you know, even if you enter a contest for a $25 coupon off to use on this guy, you get him down to $210. Maybe you've got like $10 in points. You can get it for $200, you know, before shipping and tax. And so
it's relatively inexpensive compared to a lot of the newer stuff.
and compare this newer stuff. So I'm, you know, I am a little disappointed he only comes with 4 hands, but that seems to be like the going rate for.
I say in every video, every review I do, I say I'm sick and tired of the lack of hands. And even in my Vaughn video, which is processing now, I said it in that video. I'm like, dude, they have to give us more hands. These hands don't cost them that much to make. They really don't. Like,
and they use most of all the same pose.
Right. They're reusing the gestures for the most part. So, like, give us more hands, man. Like, the hands can change so much about a figure's pose. Like, that's my biggest complaint about Hot Toys, and it will probably always be, is they don't give us enough hands. Like, dude, some of these troopers, we've got 3 hands sometimes. And the one extra hand is a blaster holding hand. We get a blaster holding hand, and then
they didn't even include blaster holding hands for some guys, so you could.
The 501st Deluxe, we didn't even get the proper hands to hold the rotary cannon.
Yeah,
like,
give us stupid hands, 2 blaster holding hands, so you can put the stupid.
I will say Vaughn got a left and right blaster holding hand.
Yeah,
which was good.
I mean, give us 2 blaster. If you're gonna only give us like 5, give us 5 instead of 4. So we've got a blaster hand for either side. How we want to put it. Don't force us into one.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I guess. If like this guy, maybe that might work because if with the holster and kind of the whole Western draw kind of a cowboy feel that they go for with the Mandos and stuff, along with the blaster. And since he doesn't have 2, he's only got 1. Okay, maybe on him I can kind of understand that, but they need to give us more hands. I mean, if they're still going to be raising prices on stuff,
right? That's a small thing they could throw in. It's not going to cost them that much.
It's a minor thing. I mean, is it the I don't know for you other guys, is it going to be the end all be all that I'm like, I'm not going to buy this figure without maybe a specific ham I wanted or something?
You're like, come on, man.
Yeah, I was worried because I hadn't watched any reviews before I finally had gotten it. Right. Somebody had told me, the with the War Machine Mark I reissue, had told me that it wasn't coming with the salute hand. They'll make it slightly different than the original version. It did come with that, and I was like, why aren't they including that? I thought that was different than pretty much that was unique to that particular War Machine versus the other ones in the Iron Patriots. But I think Axe, like, he's not a horrible figure. I'm not, he's a nice posable, but he's a middle of the road figure.
Yeah, like I said, the best way to put it is underwhelming. I'm going to address some of the comments here, and then we'll kind of hear everybody else's thoughts real quick. So 16 Star Wars Pimpazoid says Axe Woes is confirmed for Mandalorian season 3. I think he will have a bigger role this season. Set pics were leaked showing him and Sasha Banks confirmed she is not in season 3. So the thing with Sasha Banks is tough, man. I know she's having the likeness with the WWE. Yeah, it's because
but she said that way before she had the issues with the WWE.
Yeah, it's been a problem for a lot of people who've been in the WWE because they literally
scheduling conflicts basically was going to be the problem. Maybe how long they would have needed her. Then a lot more Mandalorian stuff. So
I'm sure there's a lot to it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the Night Owls are going to be like a focal point of this next season. It's going to be the struggle for Mandalore between Mando and his crew and the Night Owl. So it's going to be huge. And like you were also saying, 16, there's going to be a lot more Mandos. And Sean has said this many times. He was showing us a bunch of those photos from the trailer. And there's going to be a lot of Mandos. So prepare your wallets if you're a Mando collector, because you're going to have no shortage of them.
See, and the thing is, going to be easy cash grab, no head sculpts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the actor who played Axe Wolves, his name's Simon Cassian or Cassiander or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's Kramer.
Yeah, just Kramer.
He was seen. He was seen with Katie Sackhoff on the set of season 3. So we already know he's going to be there. We also already know that there was pictures of him at the Hot Toys in Hong Kong.
Right.
With him holding Axe Woes. And that was like a year ago.
Was he cradling him?
No, he was holding it. Just like how when Jon Favreau was holding the heavy infantry Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember that photo. Yeah,
and the rumor was that he went there to go get his head scanned.
But can you imagine that? Like, how? If I ever became an actor, it would be such like a a life moment if they made an action figure of me. I don't care who makes it, Hasbro, whatever. Can you imagine that though? Like a 6 scale figure, like, dude, this is going to be so cool. It's going to look just like me. And they don't even get a head sculpt. I would be so upset, man. I would be so upset.
But the thing is, though, is everybody who watches the show knows that this is you anyways. So
Yep.
It is, but it's just for me personally, I would be like, right. I would want the sculpt because I mean, who hasn't wished for an action figure of themselves? That's why this whole like Hasbro selfie series thing was so exciting. Fortunately, the figures look like shit, but it was so exciting. It's like, dude, I could finally have an action figure of myself. It's just goofy. It's a funny thing to me, you know. But Detolf said he'd always have a Mandalorian with the helmet on, but I find it odd that the other two didn't get head sculpts included. Probably a licensing issue. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. There's no way that they were just like, yeah, we're not doing a head sculpt for him. I think it was definitely a licensing thing, and they just couldn't get it worked out, and it just probably wasn't monetarily sensible for them to do. Because realistically, is this going to be a top seller? No, it's not. But
well, we don't know what he's going to be like in season 3 either, because if he's like a badass, which I have a feeling his armor's been repainted.
Get out of here, Tinderbot.
I think his armor's been repainted for season 3. And I bet he's the one, Simon's the one who's leading that team of Mandalorians that get that drop.
It would make sense.
And do an aerial assault.
Because he's like one of her most trusted, Bo's most trusted. So it makes sense.
Yeah. And like looking on Wikipedia, okay, he's actually, Axe Wolves is not a night owl. He just works with Bo-Katan and.
Well, I'm grouping him with the night owls.
So, I'm just saying he's actually not officially a night owl.
Well, he is in my heart. Okay, Sean.
You know, you can do that just like your dream of carrying me for some reason.
One day, Sean. One day. Enrolled Agent says, awesome. Thanks for the note. I am graduating. Congratulations on graduating. Is it from college or high school? I'm graduating in 15 days, and a little gift for myself was Rex and Kylo Ren. Dude, 2 great choices. I'm assuming because you're a new collector that you probably picked up the Rise of Skywalker Kylo Ren. I actually have 2 of those. I made a Ben Solo custom with one of them, and it's a beautiful figure. I know the sequel trilogy stuff gets a lot of hate just because of the films, but the figures themselves, a lot of them are really, really nice, especially the Kylo and Rey figures. Definitely a great choice. You're definitely addicted already. Once you get more than one, it's over, dude. It really is. Trust me.
Yeah, but get Rex as like one of your first.
Right.
Like,
Rex is one that a lot of like
awesome.
Casual Star Wars fans wouldn't pick up. So that's really dope, dude. I actually have 2 Captain Rexes. I love that figure. And actually in my Captain Vaughn review, I had him in as a comparison. So if you want to take a look at Captain Rex next to Captain Vaughn, it'll be in my video. But yeah, definitely really, really nice. Yeah, Matt. So actually, let me address a couple more of your comments, Matt. Matt said, watch the Mando S3 trailer. There'll be more Mandos. Yeah, Don is saying there was 75 costume Mandos on set. That's going to be incredible, dude. It's a bit overwhelming, but awesome at the same time. I'm curious what they come out with. But
we'll see. That matches the other article that said that they made 81 Mandalorian helmets.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, if they made 81 Mandalorian helmets for it, you know, it could be 75 and there's just like 5 or 6 lying around.
Yeah. Oh, in the Detolf, that's another one for Matt that we never got. We got the tease for the Poe Dameron long ago. We never got Poe Dameron. I was upset about that. I liked Poe Dameron as a character. Here's the thing, guys. Like when Force Awakens first came out, there was so much hype, and I actually did enjoy the Force Awakens for what it was. So I was really excited to get a figure of him in any form, but unfortunately, we didn't get the hot toy. And then again, with Moon Knight, we never got a sculpt. I do think Mr. Knight is still possible. Yeah, I would definitely take Poe. I do think Mr. Knight is still possible, though, but we'll have to wait and see.
I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Another
Lane, we got Gore the God Butcher long after the movie came out. Anything's possible at this
point.
Not
that long.
It's been a minute, bro, and that movie lost steam really fast too.
It's 7 months since Moon Knight.
Hey, another thing though too, that the Mimban Stormtrooper was teased like multiple times.
Dude, it's such a beautiful design too.
And then there was also the other Mud Troopers that had the belt with the and the ammo cartridge chest piece.
Airborne Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
212th Airborne. Like, there's been a lot of like.
I'm wondering how
Padme,
Kit Fisto, Padme. Like, there's a lot of freaking bays. Like, there's been a lot of stuff, man. But We're going to move on to the next topic here, guys. And I know Ryan's licking his lips over here like I am because, guys, some unfortunate and fortunate news. The DeLorean actually is coming out early, guys. So, and I kind of talked about this with Ryan. It could be good or bad because a vehicle coming out early, I'd be lying if I said it didn't concern me a little bit, especially with this one, because obviously we're hoping they make a change to this hover conversion look. I'm hoping that they deliver on the changes because it was a big thing. It was a big thing. And for a piece that's $825 before taxes and shipping, it's going to continue to be a big thing. So am I excited that it's coming out early? Absolutely, I'm excited. Because this one is a piece that is really special to me. And I know it's really special to all of us, especially if you're a Back to the Future fan. Well, I would hope you would be a Back to the Future fan if you're spending $825. But I'm excited that it's coming out early. But it does suck, guys, because if you hadn't pre-ordered it yet like me, unfortunately, the payment plans went from 7 payments. They were at 8 originally. And then once we hit November, it dropped down to 7. Now they're down to 3, guys. So overnight, they went from 7 to 3. So for a piece of this caliber and this price tag, it is definitely unfortunate because the payment plans are huge to a lot of us, including myself. So it is a bit unfortunate. I'm glad that I had a backup plan and I've been saving up rewards for a while for this. So I have about $300 in rewards that I'm going to drop on this. So those 3 monthly payments won't be really bad for me at all.
It's a car payment for a mini car.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude. And I definitely feel for those that hadn't pre-ordered this one yet because it's expensive, $247 a month. I mean, granted, if you picked up the Mark 46 recently, this is about what those monthly payments were for that new Mark 46. So I don't know, guys. It's expensive. It really is. But again, I am very, very excited about this, and I really hope that they made the changes that were necessary for this piece. With that being said, like, I don't think if you're a newer collector, like Enrolled Agent, I don't know if you collect or if you plan on collecting anything other than Star Wars. But if you're a Back to the Future fan, this is like a blessing for you. And any other new collectors or collectors like myself who weren't collecting anything other than Star Wars when the original DeLorean came out, this is a blessing. I mean, the original DeLorean was selling for thousands. The Mark I DeLorean was selling for thousands. So to get this for retail, $825 seems like a gift. In terms of Hot Toys history, considering how expensive the Mark I DeLorean was and still is, I'm really excited for this. Again, it is a bit unfortunate that we got kind of forced on that 3 payment plan, but for the most part, you kind of have to expect that anything can happen right now with Hot Toys. So we kind of have to adapt. I don't think this is going to instantly sell out, but it is a vehicle and you want to keep an eye on it because we saw what happened with those Bark speeders. And I did see the collector mentioned earlier, definitely hop on the wait list for those Bark speeders because they are converting. The second one that sold out, the Commander Appa one, has not converted yet, but the sidecar heavy Bark speeder has converted for some people. So definitely hop on that wait list. Don't give up if you're trying to buy from Sideshow like myself. Yomo, how's it going, brother? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, man. We're just hanging out, talking about the DeLorean, talking about some Star Wars. We got a few more things to talk about still tonight, but I hope you're doing well. Oh, so college, congratulations. That's huge, man. And you already got a job. Some people aren't that lucky. You know, they graduate and their majors are very specific and it's hard to find a job. So congratulations, dude. I would have bought myself something too. Hey, I buy myself stuff all the time just because. So definitely something to celebrate about. Yes, sometimes you have to dopo. For this one, not necessarily. You did have plenty of time, but some stuff you do. Yeah, Unstuck. It's tough, man. It's tough because it's a pricey piece. And not only is it pricey, it takes up a lot of room. But I'm going to stop blabbing. Ryan, share with us in our excitement for the DeLorean. Share with us your thoughts on it coming early. Let's talk about the DeLorean, man.
This will be my second DeLorean. I have one already. I have a
rub it in.
I have a. I don't know if anyone is familiar with. I have the Eagle Moss 1/8 scale DeLorean, which is all metal. Thing weighs about 35 pounds. It's actually, I mean, my camera up. It's sitting. It's right up there on top of my glass display case. So that's, and that one up there, I can convert it from Series 1, 2, or 3. So I have that. I'm excited for it. I'm actually excited to do a comparison between this and that one because I know that I can see on this one there's not necessarily inaccuracies, but there's definitely some stuff that's not on this car that should be on there, whether it's like, I think the first one, like the time circuits didn't light up or stuff like that. So I'm excited to do a side-by-side comparison to a more detailed, because
that'll be a really cool video.
The one I have is far more superiorly detailed, but it's not taking away my excitement for this one because it goes with, the figures. And since we're in Back to the Future mode also, obviously I got my Doc Brown charging tomorrow, so he's shipping out. I got my 10-day notice for him. So, and then I think it was I know I got tipped off by Nate. Nate posted, I think, about finding out the payments got dropped. I saw that this morning. For me, I think I made a comment about it. Obviously, I've geared my collecting more towards obviously trying to get the best deal. But
like a lot
for
of us,
me, I usually day one, but I'll closely pre-order figures due to sometimes I'll sacrifice a small discount versus a longer payment plan, like Iron Man figures. Like I got the Iron Man Mark 1, the Mark 3. Those are on payment plans because I want the maximum amount of payments I can get. Same thing with the DeLorean. Right. So my first payment's next month. I'll probably start it earlier, but so I'm excited for that. So when that thing dropped, I was like, oh boy. But I'm excited, man. I'm really hoping that it opens the door. I'm grateful that I get another chance at this one. I know this is technically, I think, the first version because it's the Mark II, not the Mark 1. But I'll have it displayed like this because, like I said, I have the Eagle Moss one just sitting there, in Mark 1 form. And so I'll definitely have mine displayed. I have the cabinet space for this. So this is just another example amongst many of Hot Toys, obviously testing our budgets and also our space allocation, because I want mine behind glass. I don't want mine sitting out, just out. I want it protected. So I have my cabinets behind me built for that reason, and it's going to be displayed, and I really hope that we get a couple I don't know.
Here's another one. Here's another one, guys. Like this is like a direct parallel to the Darkside Anakin.
Yeah, I hope we get those guys or another version of, you know what I mean? There's something like that, so I'm really looking forward to those.
And I'm sure you remember when this DeLorean first dropped, everybody was like, "Oh, we're getting the Back to the Future 2 figures again."
I remember and just like the Back to the Future 3, they teased the Mark III DeLorean.
Yep,
where's that at? The white wheel version. So sometimes it doesn't always pan out, but I'm super excited, really excited for this. I always joke, I think on a lot of streams that, Back to the Future is one of my pillars growing up. Back to the Future's Ghostbusters, Batman, RoboCop. It's what it was. So this was an absolute no-brainer for me. And like I said, the payment plan for me, some more expensive items, I live and die by that. So I was fortunate enough to grab this one and have it on 8 months. So I have, I only pay like $105 a month for
so
it.
It stings a lot less for sure.
Yeah, the only thing about it is if I maximize the time, obviously I'm going to get it later than some people because I'm still paying later. So that's why I might escalate a few payments and pay off, like maybe double up a month or two here just to kind of get it paid off sooner. So that's a benefit to people that have 3 payments. I mean, they're 3 headaches, or 4 headaches, but you'll probably get, it faster versus people like me that have 8. So I'll probably pay mine off sooner and get it faster. So there's pros and cons to both.
Exactly. So that's like I'm
key, though.
Right. So I'm getting put on the spot with mine. So I'm like,
but you're going to get yours before.
The benefit is I'm going to get mine probably when it comes out,
Exactly. Or I just play the game and pay. But like I said, I might speed mine up, and at least I have the flexibility is what I like. I have flexibility. I'm not put in a corner, which is, some people are going to be.
Very true. Agent, there's a lot of different websites. Are you looking in terms of places you can purchase from, or are you just looking for a place to look? There's also an application called FigMe that I use, and it basically allows you to track everything that you've purchased from Hot Toys, everything that you want on your wish list. It's a really useful app. It's called FigMe. Very useful app, and you can kind of track everything on there. You could say the stuff that you purchased, that you own, stuff that you have on pre-order. It's really, really nice. So if you guys haven't checked that out, definitely check out FigMe. It's really cool, and I use it to my benefit all the time. Is anyone else? I know cigars for sure. I know you're getting this, but Sean or Chris, I'm sure you're not picking this up. But Sean, are you picking up the DeLorean?
Yeah, I have it ordered. I ordered it through my local comic shop.
I figured you have considerable space for it, and I know you love these films too, so I'm not surprised.
I think it's going to be overpriced in shipping.
Oh, so yeah, that's another thing, dude. The shipping's going to hurt, man.
Depending on how it is, I got Captain Bond. I didn't order that through Sideshow. I ordered it through my local comic shop, and I picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, Monday or Tuesday? when I got it, and it's Thursday now. So I got it close to the same time, like maybe a day or two.
They're doing pretty good, man. They really are, and it's great to see.
And other times too, it like takes 2 months for me to get it. Like it'll be delayed between when everyone gets it from Sideshow. It's like 2+ months, which is fine. I'm not in a rush to get this. I'm kind of excited though that it got pushed early, but at the same time, this got pushed early last night. 3 other items got pushed back, and they're all DC. We had King Shark, Cyborg, and the Batman EX suit.
The XE, yep.
That all of them got pushed back.
Which is funny because remember we mentioned that XE suit. Someone had asked if because it doesn't have a head sculpt, do you think it'll make it? And we're like, nah, that suit's got a lot of detail to it.
Yeah,
and that now puts people, because those are older ones that are within. If you have them ordered through Sideshow, they're 2-month windows. So you have to make your decision now. Do you let it get canceled, or you basically have to commit and have no way to get your NRD back?
It's a tough choice, man. It really puts you in a corner. A lot of this is, truthfully, a lot of it's like we're looking at it and we're like, damn.
It does look cool though. I mean, this is going to probably be over the next. I mean, I think we can say for vehicles, Hot Toys in the last year and a half is really maybe almost too much. Sometimes you could maybe say take their.
Yeah.
I'm actually. I know you were talking about. You're not sure about some of these things. You're worried about some QC because there's been some weird QC stuff just because of the amount of junk coming out. And if this is supposed to get moved up, with also February going to be where they basically shut down for at least a few weeks that month.
Yeah,
so production.
You can see it's listing January to April now. Yes, Wolf, it did get moved up to possibly as early as January. Of course, those are just projections, so it could be anywhere in this time frame or later.
It could get pushed back again.
Exactly, which has happened plenty of times. But as of right now, it is coming early.
Yeah, but I actually am, even though I personally do not have an interest in DeLorean. I never planned to get it. The only big vehicle I thought about was the Tumbler, because I'm a big, Dark Knight fan, but I decided to stick with, because that thing's a lot wider than even this. This is longer, but it's bigger and wider. And I need that facial response there, because that is
I even stop doing this stuff because they took a screenshot of me in the Discord and made an emoji of my face. So I got to stop doing this because they're gonna make another one now. I promise.
With a like annoyed face. Hot Toys Hotline.
Yeah, they took it's a picture of me when I was like trying to pre-order something that hit last chance while we were on stream. So I was just looking like this. And they took a screenshot of me and made an emoji in the Discord. So
the worst thing you'd ever have is pause button on recording, on the stream.
I could just give up.
That you can get all kinds of weird, like drunken face look. It's just because your eyes are rolling for a second or something. But I actually have faith in this piece that I still now for some of the transformation stuff. I don't know at that point.
That's the thing. I'm just worried about the hover conversion. Like if they improve that.
However, I would say I'm feeling pretty good about this as a overly large or vehicle or big, large size piece that they're doing for a couple reasons, at least with like paint apps and just production of it. When you're talking about I'm not willing to go that far out, because to me from the beginning, I thought it looked fine. I didn't really notice that.
I don't think it looks bad. I just think for an $825 price tag, it should be improved,
Yeah. But I have faith because of what they've done with vehicles recently. Now, the Bat Pod I leave out because that was like...
Yes, please, in the details. Cool. Please. I know Lane wants that too. We all want that, please.
Yeah, that would be cool. Well, we need a Keaton Batman to go with that, though.
Well, that's another one. That is another one, dude. What the hell?
No,
Where's the Keaton Batman?
But guys,
stop, Ryan. Don't look back. Stop looking back at your display.
You guys have been in... Even if you're within only like the last 2 or 3, within the last 3 or 4 years, you already are aware of and know Hot Toys does that, showing off lots of stuff they never make. Like they just do that a lot. Even sometimes if it's pumped.
Yeah, they do. A lot of
it's gonna rub it in your face.
Yeah, like Hulk Hogan's 80s flex, to the thing showing off the 24-inch
All
figure
right, we'll
making pythons.
give him his moment of fame. Go ahead, rub it in, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody. Ryan has eaten Batman. Yeah, everybody clap for Ryan.
I almost got the joke. I almost pulled the trigger on the Joker.
No, it's a beautiful figure. Even
not,
the original,
not the mime one,
so
but
nice,
the purple
man.
suit.
Yeah, the mime is cool, but you got to get the purple suit. That's the best look.
But what I will say is why I have faith. I think this is going to end up coming out pretty good. Is because of the three. Now I'm leaving Batpod out because that's like the third version they've done of that one or something.
Yeah.
Like that. So, but the Stat came out great as a smaller size vehicle.
Yeah, all the
really
speeders
good.
are beautiful.
I truly think if you put my feet to the fire for paint applications onto a Hot Toys item, like whatever figure, like 68 figures or whatever, and other stuff that they put out this year. Mm-hmm. I would make the argument if you put my feet to the fire, what is the best paint apt item that they put out this year? It would be the swoop bike. I think that thing has the best paint apps.
Without even owning it, I can almost agree with you because it looks amazing. And I saw it in videos. I saw it on your unboxing.
No, in hand, it's just everything.
So the rust and everything is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just speaking of paint application. That's what I'm speaking of.
Yeah, the one he's giving out for Christmas.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
But so it's from some of those vehicles and other stuff. And I'm also including don't have it in hand or anything, but I think the way the Hydra Stomper looked and came out with the way it looked and everything, and it seems to function. Yeah. Like an oversized big item. I think this one's going to come out really good because I think their track record. Now, like you said, with production hurrying stuff up, and we've already talked about possible, with Loki and other stuff, is there maybe some corners they might cut that might end up annoying you a little bit with this piece?
Possibly.
But at the end of the day, you're still getting a DeLorean where, okay, maybe it's not 100% perfect. And yes, I know it's $825. But, we're talking about, are they going to put out the N1 Starfighter? And people are willing to pay $1,500 for that or more. Which I think is bananas, but,
I'll say this. If you're considering buying the DeLorean, you should be happy with what you're seeing in these photos. You should be happy because you can't always expect that things are going to be improved because we've seen, Loki, perfect example. We've seen that doesn't always happen. So if you're happy with the prototype and you're like, if it's close to the prototype, I'm cool with that. Then
it just can't be regressed. That's the one thing. It can't have something super regressed. But now, would you feel the same way though? I know we're saying this, but what if we were talking about the Ecto 1 from Afterlife, which is an $1,800 or $1,800.
That one's priced out.
That one have to be perfect.
I know Ryan, I think, just pulled the trigger on that one after discussing it the other day.
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't tell your wife about that one, dude. You're probably like, I would never buy that. What are you talking about?
Looks like he's got one behind him too.
Ghostbusters.
Dude, my girlfriend heard me talking about this DeLorean on stream a few weeks ago, and she was like, "You're buying that 800?" I'm like, "I have rewards points. Relax." So I don't know how you're gonna do when that shows up, Ryan. I don't even know what you're gonna do.
You could do just do a variation of as Mike Gundy, the coach for Oklahoma State, did. One time at a press conference, famously, and just say, "I'm a man. I'm over 30. I buy my Hot Toys like I want."
No, that doesn't work.
Bro, that doesn't work. I get caught. Look, I got my Echo today. I snuck in with that.
This is why Lane is single.
Well, Lane's lucky in that regard. Well, no, because Mike Gundy got a whole bunch of blowback for how he approached that in the situation now years ago, but that's what he's famous for doing. Right. But I was meaning more that if you did that, then you would probably find half your collection, have to put it up for sale the next day.
You'd be in my situation.
Yeah,
but,
Ian, it's going to be an absolute.
You'd be going through my situation right now.
All right, guys. I actually just realized I didn't mean to carry on.
Yeah, you went over your 5 minutes, but guys, Lane is going to head out. So thank you so much for being here as always. Lane.
Still made it almost 3 hours.
Yeah, you made it 3, dude. That's a record for you because I know you had to scoot out early a lot of times. Yeah. Oh God. All right. Now, so as the moment I mentioned my girlfriend, here she is bullying me about my I told you, dude, I can't do nothing. Now she knows. She knows about the figure that I got today. Come on,
that's the thing is because I've been saving up a bunch of my points. I'm hoping yours are going to post that Bo-Katan gets to you and post maybe not too far away, or we get a couple more reward. a couple more rewards points. And hey, guys, keep your eyes out too. I don't know if you've been paying attention. This just tells me I'm wondering what was kind of discussed in another stream I had saw the other day about what's the situation with Sideshow. Is they've got another sale thing that's starting actually on Monday.
Yeah.
From the 5th through the 9th.
Christmas.
Yeah. And they've got that going on.
That's
too.
what I'm waiting for rewards from that for this DeLorean. Because
and then they have the 12 days of Christmas too.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's gonna be some deals.
Some
deals.
So there are some of these ones that we're talking about. Bo-Katan. We could see Axe. Well, I don't know. They might be too soon for them to do that. But they put the Mark 42 quarter scale like the day it arrived and went in stock. It was like 13% off or something like that. But some of these figures, if you're not 100% like I'm not sure, you might want to be watching the next couple of weeks because some of them might pop up or come in stock where you might, even if not a major discount, maybe there's a 10% off you have yet for Marvel that's going to expire at the end of the month or early next year, or you've got you do a contest and you get a $25 coupon. You know, if Axe you're considering, $25 coupon pops up, you could use on him after he comes in stock. A couple days, boom. You know, there you go.
Yeah. So is that what you're waiting for? Is the new thing before you send out our swoop bikes for Christmas?
Yeah, that would be an absolute no.
Lane,
I mean, because it would go to your rewards points that you're saving up
for. We're not trying to like put a lead time on it, but like when do you like kind of expect it's going to happen?
No, it'll be Neverland in the land of never.
But that'll be the first Hot Toys that's ever given to me as a present would be from Lane Kramer.
No, sorry. But I'm almost at I think even though I spent earlier back in October during what was it? I forget what the Halloween event, Spooktacular. I spent like $250 in points. I've got like $179.90 that are waiting for another item that I'm planning to pre-order, which is a higher end Hot Toy.
Well, at least you didn't waste your reward points on a Sideshow Grievous that fell apart from head to toe.
All right, listen.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
I warned you. I warned you. I told you it's a piece of it. Like it literally basically just a pile of plastic. Now it looks good in the display. I love having a General Grievous, and I wouldn't get rid of it now.
You should have said I'm thinking about picking this up, and I would have sent you one of Nate's earliest Geeking Out videos where. Like they re-announced, Grievous coming out like at a celebration time. When the one moment Sideshow had a moment where it looked like they may have stolen Hot Toys like thunder because they announced like the Blurg, and everybody was like the Blurg versus General Grievous that was selling for $600, even though it was a piece of trash. And everybody's like, did they improve it? And they were like, yeah. And they said that in one of the things, and then they said, nope, later.
We improved the cape.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But
you know what's going to make that sell, though? The Sideshow Grievous is if they come out with the Magna Guards from Hot Toys.
Yeah. Or
if they come out with the Magna Guards.
With the little staffs.
Or if they maybe put out an actual Hot Toys finally put out Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm sure that would probably sell a few here and there too.
Matt, stop reminding us.
Before
Stop reminding us.
I mean, you already got Battle Damage Grievous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's much more than battle damage. It's like pre-assembly Grievous. It was as he was being assembled.
His final fight Grievous with Obi-Wan.
Right.
After Blaster Grievous.
Exactly.
Thumbnail does look like he's laid out anyway.
Grievous.
It does.
All right, guys. Well, hey, everybody, have a good night. Make sure you hit the like button.
Yes, guys, drop that.
Drop
that like if you haven't already. Take care, Lane. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Yep, and make sure you also for Collecting Madness, for Hot Toys Nightmare, and Mr. Mom Collectibles, all with their channels. Make sure you go to them, subscribe to them as well. Keep up with their content that they're trying to produce as well.
Thank you so much, Lane.
Anyway, and I have no content to produce because I don't have a channel because I'm not silly enough like them to actually do it. Why make
you're just busy not getting anything on everybody else's channels.
Yeah, pretty much. Alrighty, guys. Have a good night.
Take care, man.
Have a good night.
Oh, and you know how you get away with your significant other? You just tell them politely, I don't tell you how to spend your money, so you don't tell me how to spend mine. As long as
Yeah,
I'm taking.
I've tried
But
that.
hold on,
one.
I'm not finished though.
No.
Hold on, I'm not finished. That's when you also say, as long as I'm taking care of everything, including you, there's not much you could really complain about.
That doesn't work either.
Or
Oh,
you
well,
just
then
stay
you guys are-
single,
Yeah.
Oh my.
or you just stay single like me and
All right,
do what you want.
Sean. Just
Yeah, well, I'm in that boat now, so
See, it works.
I don't have to explain to nobody.
Before we move on from the DeLorean, I do want to hear Chris's thoughts, which may be brief because I know he's not really big into this stuff.
Dude, you can move on if you want.
Okay, so Chris doesn't care about the DeLorean, which has been unfortunate. I did see in the detail of your comment earlier, he said the Back to the Future 2 figures head sculpts look like shit, specifically the Marty. I wouldn't go as far as to say shit. I would just say it's not aging well. I do think
Like they need a reissue.
Yeah, I do think if they did a 2.0, it would be definitely beneficial. The newer release of the Back to the Future 1 Marty is definitely really good. I think the sculpt's probably like an 8.5 out of 10. I don't think it's like 100% there, but it's pretty beautiful. But yeah, Dr. Phil Hotline. Dude, I might as well be. Because what does Dr. Phil do? He gets yelled at on his show, but then he bounces
and then he
back
just yells at people.
Right, and then I
what
yells
your
back.
problem is? There's a problem right here.
Exactly.
Okay. You just
so
need to say okay after everything now.
You know what your problem is?
Okay.
Yeah,
Doctor.
right. Take it or leave it. I've got nothing else to say to you. All right, CMB, since Chris doesn't care about the DeLorean, what are your thoughts on the DeLorean as a whole? And what are your thoughts on the DeLorean possibly getting pushed up and released earlier? And are you upset about the payment plan thing? Because I know you like to wait till a bit later to pre-order things.
I'm not upset with the payment plan thing. I'm cool with it being pushed up sooner. Means we get it quicker.
That's true. And that's kind of my realm of thinking right now. I'm glad that I have all those rewards saved up, so it'll kind of soften the blow.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to wait for it to come into stock because I do have a bunch of rewards I'm saving up. So as soon as it comes into stock, I'll be dropping it on that.
Yeah.
So it did kind of hit me hard, though, knowing that this is coming out at the same time I'm paying off the Ecto 1 Afterlife. So
yeah, it makes me glad I'm not getting it.
Heavy blow. Heavy blow.
Heavy blow. Yeah. All right, here we go. Guys,
because you know when there are these big vehicles and type of things, then you have to prepare yourself anyways to be like, all right, look, either I'm going to do a payment plan or I'm going to pay for it, like me when it comes in and do a payment plan, which
it's
be more
right. It's going to
expensive,
sting regardless.
Yeah. So either way, if you prepare yourself financially and mentally that it could come at any moment, then you're good. Like you're prepared. It doesn't hit you off guard and you go, well, damn.
Yeah. Very true. Kaiju Daddy says he can't wait for the DeLorean, but all these things coming out quickly is definitely not appealing to my wallet yet.
Yeah,
dude, it sucks, man. And I was saying earlier, there's like 5 figures now that I have not pre-ordered that I need. And going off of your question, Wolf Moon, yes, Hunter is now beginning to ship in the US very soon. People got emails. That was one of the ones that people got emails for. We've kind of already talked about most of them. So just so you know, of course, the Hydra Stomper that we're seeing here, there were emails sent out for the Hydra Stomper. Doc Brown, as Ryan mentioned earlier. The White Vision was another one
Hydra
that also
Stomper's
had
in
emails
stock
sent out.
Show.
Yeah,
Hydra Stomper came in yesterday afternoon for, like, it was weird because they did the video yesterday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Either way, they did the video this week, and yesterday afternoon, the Hydra Stomper was already. It's the one without Steve Rogers, but still, the Hydra Stomper is in stock.
Still very fast. Yeah, very fast.
Yeah, but I mean, if
you
think
so
about
is Black Widow,
like,
but I don't think anybody cares about Black Widow. So
no.
Yeah.
But it's like the Coruscant Guard. Like I had the tracking number, and my Coruscant Guard already shipped before they even did the video.
Yeah.
With Sideshow.
Yeah, it's quick, man. It really is. Bo-Katan was actually one of the recently slower ones in terms of when it was released in Hong Kong and when we got it through Sideshow because she just started shipping. Dude, this box is amazing. One, I love the custom shipper. And two, I'm not picking up a lot of the what if stuff. Like this doesn't interest me at all. I do think it's very cool, but it doesn't interest me. With that being said, the packaging is super cool. I love those really vibrant colors.
It's like a little.
Yeah,
I just want Infinity Ultron. That's it.
And that's where I'm at right now too. Now, if they do, dude, this thing is massive. By the way, Kaiju, yeah, exactly. That In-Art Joker 2-pack. I got the sculpted because I prefer sculpted hair, but yeah, that remaining balance on that is just kind of hanging above my head. But it's not going to make it before the end of the year. That's not going to happen. At least not my order. But yeah, dude, the Hydra Stomper looks really cool. I definitely think this is an impressive piece from Hot Toys. And like, look at Guy's arm.
His hand, yeah.
Right. Let's pay attention to this first shot here when he's moving his hand. This piece is massive.
It's taller than the Hulkbuster by
it's big,
1.2 inches. Because I have the Hulkbuster, so this is a big boy.
Now, when you think about it, you're like, that's $625 price. $625 for the set, I think.
For the set. If you just get the Hulkbuster, it's $485.
Which is pretty cheap. All things considering, for the size of it, it's pretty cheap.
You know, and I know some people are like, well, it's only a power pose. Yeah, but I mean, if you have the other Hulkbuster, it's pretty much power pose.
Yeah, it's not very
really do much with the legs. You know, you could do a whole bunch with the arms and stuff.
This is cool,
but not with the legs. So this is like the Hulk. And granted, the other Hulkbuster has more detail, has a lot of die-cast parts for the inside skeleton and all that. Where this is pretty much mostly plastic. I'm pretty sure like the joints and stuff, like where the elbow bends, it's probably going to be die-cast, or there's a little bit of die-cast to support the skeletal system on the inside, but it's nowhere near the actual Hulkbuster. So
yeah, Kaiju, it definitely will hit discount for sure. I think this one's probably going to sit.
I think it's also going to be limited batch too. I don't think it'll be a high batch of this.
No, and I think that's part of the reason why it arrived so quickly. Yep. Like Cigars was saying, it's already in stock on Sideshow. But I like I said, this doesn't interest me at all. But this is a very cool piece. I love like that like World War II aesthetic. I think it's the coolest thing ever. So this is really neat to me. I would never buy it. Truth be told, I do think the Steve Rogers looks better than the Captain Carter in terms of the paint work and everything, but I just don't like the translation from animated to figure. I'm not a huge fan. I really don't. Yeah. But the Infinity Ultron is different because he's mostly like armor and die cast, so it doesn't have that same effect, you know. And that's the only one right now where I'm like, dude, I have to get that. That concept to me was amazing because if you guys have seen What If. And there actually is a second season as well. There's going to be a second season. But if you guys have seen What If, like the Infinity Ultron wreaked freaking havoc, dude. Like he wreaked absolute havoc, and it took so much to put him down. And it was a badass character. So I'm definitely picking up the Infinity Ultron. But that's another one I'm going to be waiting for a discount for sure because I think he's going to sit. Yeah, I definitely think that's a sign that it's pretty light CSI. I noticed that too. He said the collector said he would put it in a display fighting Cobra. That would probably be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool.
How dare you?
Yeah, Peyton. I mean, me personally, if I were to go for this, I would want the whole set. You know how I am. I'm balls to the wall with every release. I got to get the deluxe of everything. But I would definitely get Steve because I do like the look of him kind of climbing up it. I think that's really cool, especially because the scale is so massive on this thing. It's really cool seeing him climb up it.
On that photo that they took with him climbing, though,
yeah,
like, they could have put the arm up because the way that photo looks, it looks like Steve is straddling.
Yeah, it's like a giant.
The Hydra Stomper, like exactly, like he's hugging on.
The joints look really good.
Girlfriend that just won't let go.
Right.
I saw that picture from a distance, and I thought they were having him hold the Steve Rogers.
Oh, that's cool. There's a little separate box for Steve. That's interesting.
Yeah. And he comes with his own little shipper inside of it.
I was going to say, it looked like it was above if you saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice that. You know what this is similar to?
On the side is a rectangle cardboard box, and that's the one that Steve's in. It's like its own little shipper.
That's cool. Yeah. This is similar to the Asmus Ash Williams, the luxury edition. That's how that was packaged. The diorama base had its own box, and it was all in a custom shipper, and then the Ash Williams was in his own art box, which I think is really cool. That's the thing. Like this Steve, I think this is much more pleasing to the eye than the other one. I will be honest with you. The other one being the Captain Carter. I do love this like World War II aesthetic. I think it's really cool. That's why I would love to see them do like the first Avenger Cap again. Because that one definitely could use an update. That would be really neat if they redid that one that came with the Thompson and the 1911 and stuff. But it's a cool figure. It really is. And again, I think the paint apps are definitely much more pleasing to the eye on this one over the Captain Carter. Again, it's just the way it translates to a figure. I'm just not a fan. It's just not for me. But those who are picking this up. Oh, Ian, I really appreciate you being here, dude. I appreciate the conversation. You had a lot to offer, so I appreciate you. And thank you so much for subbing. I'm just, guys, again, I'm just blown away that we hit 500. It's just like surreal to me, you know. I definitely don't take it for granted. So I really do appreciate y'all. And I appreciate y'all that have been hanging out with us this whole time. We still got a bit more stuff to cover. But again, thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. I really do appreciate you.
Well, you know, we're getting Guardians toys. Hot Toys just posted the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Yeah. That's
so
how they hint
they're
at
already
it.
Warming up the molds.
Yeah, that's how they hint at it. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the Hydra Stomper because we got a bit more to go through before we end the stream here. Guys, real quick, we're going to go through the rest of the figures that have been emails have been sent out for. Apparently, and again, some of this stuff we have seen proof for, others we have not. But apparently, Jesse, people received emails for Jesse. So Jesse is now starting to ship from Sideshow very soon. So keep an eye out for that. If you haven't pre-ordered Jesse yet, I think you could ride it out for a coupon. Me personally, this was a day one for me because like Arc 501st is like top tier for me in terms of wants for figures. I mentioned earlier that I want the Echo and the Fives really bad, and this Jesse made me want them even more. Also, as I mentioned earlier, of course, we know the Doc Brown Deluxe, but also the White Vision. Actually, Lane was one of the first people to mention this because he got his email basically instantaneously when this was sent out to everybody. So the White Vision is coming soon. And I think that's it apart from what we have already mentioned.
I know I got my, not that I know it's different, but if anyone who got the Iron Man construction suit, mine just shipped out from.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So Ryan mentioned earlier his construction
totally
suit.
random.
Iron
I was
Man
looking for something else and just, this shipped. They even know.
All right, guys. Sean has to dip out. So Sean, thank you so much for being here. Guys, if you haven't already, check out the Hot Toys Nightmare. The link is in the description of for Sean's channel. He did just put up a video of his Captain Vaughn the other day, so definitely check that out. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. Any closing words before you head out, Sean?
Yeah. So November, Hot Toys did 14 releases total. That's the most that they've ever done.
Yeah, you were telling me they broke a record for like the most they've ever released in 1 month, right?
Yeah, that was 14. And then, I mean, we're already at the most that they've ever done in 1 year, which is 68. But they've also, this year, we have 91 announcements, which that's not the most announcements they've made in a year. So, I mean, the thing is, though, is I don't see this as a storm right now. And maybe that's just me, but I don't see it as a storm just because I prepared for it. Like I knew what I had ordered.
Right.
And I was ready for it. You know, the Delorean being pushed early, honestly, I thought that was going to be pushed back. Just because of the size and everything. So that was kind of a surprise to me, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, just collect what you want. Don't let other people influence you.
And what else, Sean?
On what you want.
What else? You got to say it.
I know.
The people want to hear it. He's like,
Mace Windu in 2020.
No, Sean, what the hell?
You just told me people wanted to hear it.
That's not, no. The chat has my back with Mace Windu, Sean. You know what you had to say. You know what? Chris, say it for him so he can't say it. Beat him to it because that's what he deserves.
Make good choices, mofo.
Yeah. All right, Sean. Thank you so much for being here, man. I'm glad you made it.
Everyone have a good night. I was glad to be here.
Have a good night.
Take care, Sean.
And remember, 2025.
Don't remember. Everything else is cool, but what he said, just forget that.
Sounds like he's running for president.
I know. That's what it sounds like. Hey, I don't know if he intended to leave. Oh, there he goes. But guys, as we always do, you guys know I'm a big waitlist watcher right now. I'm a weight watcher. So we're looking at the waitlist here. We did have some stuff hit waitlist actually that was surprising to me. For those of you guys that are Resident Evil fans, if you collect the Damn Toys figures, the Claire Redfield, both the classic version and the remake version, just hit waitlist, which is very surprising. And shout out to Jalapeno in the Discord, Will. You guys have probably seen Will Van Westbrook on Facebook. Shout out to him for pointing that out to me because I almost missed it. Because it's not one I was paying attention to because I didn't think it was going to hit waitlist. So that one did just hit waitlist. Guys, if I were you, do not purchase this zombie Deadpool or Harley Quinn right now. These were on a crazy discount recently. The zombie Deadpool was what, like $216, I believe.
Something around there, yeah.
Yes, super cheap. So I wouldn't rush to pre-order these because, or purchase these rather, because I think they're going to show up on a coupon again for this next event, for the Christmas event. Yeah, so the Goblin Deluxe is gone. I actually have it in my notes too.
Ooh.
The Goblin Deluxe was actually a day one pre-order for me. I was way too excited for that one. Also here, guys, we didn't mention this because we didn't have a stream last week, but we had some waitlist conversions for the Bat Signal set, Classic Loki, Electro, and Peacemaker. We had some waitlist conversions for, so that just shows you, and Cigars and I definitely have mentioned this before, to hop on those waitlists because it's not the end when they sell out from Sideshow. There's going to be multiple opportunities for the waitlist throughout. So me personally, I told you guys that Commander Apo set went waitlist in the middle of the night, so I missed out on it. So I'm just holding off for my waitlist to convert with Sideshow, and I think it will because the other bike set already has converted for some people. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Not much has changed on the waitlist. Morbius, we were not on stream when this one converted, so yes, Morbius has been sitting on the waitlist on the last chance page for about a week and a half now. So if you haven't picked up Morbius, I don't know if he's at almost sold out status. No, he's still low stock, so you have time. Actually, on the 30 Seconds to Mars website where they sell their merch, obviously they have a signed Morbius figure that you can purchase. It was 30% off, so you could get it for $260 before shipping. I will say this though, guys, after reading the fine print for that Morbius signed figure, it's a certificate of authenticity that comes with it that is signed. So I don't know about you all, but I think that's pretty lame. If I were to get a signed hot toy, I would at least want it to be like on the box or like on a plaque or something that comes with it. It's literally on the certificate of authenticity. So am I going to pay an extra $60 for a Jared Leto autograph on a piece of paper? No, probably not. I probably would have done it if there was a special like plate or something that came with it. But I don't think it's worth it. But yeah, not much movement on the last chance page, guys. Again, keep an eye on this. And once again, if you're not in the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group or follow the Instagram, definitely keep an eye out because, again, whenever stuff pops up on the last chance page, we do try to alert you all pretty immediately. And we have multiple people in the group doing that. It used to be just me, but now everybody's contributing. So it's really awesome. It's great to help our fellow collectors out and kind of give you guys a heads up. So definitely keep an eye on that. Yeah, Matt, I could tell you, dude, and I've said this recently, but one of my figures of the year that kind of surprised me the most, and I was very impressed by the company, which I haven't purchased from before prior to that, was Damn Toys Leon S. Kennedy. That figure is beautiful. It wasn't perfect. There were some issues here and there, but overall, their accessories are absolutely beautiful. The attention to detail is incredible. And I highly recommend, if you're a Resident Evil fan, to check out this line because they did just mention that this is it for the Resident Evil remake line, for the Resident Evil 2 remake. So this is it. We're about to show the new figure that they just announced here at the end of the stream. So they did just announce one final figure for the remake line, and that's going to be it for now. We don't know what they're going to do in the future, but yes, dude, Andreas, that base is incredible. I've already said this. I'm going to try to hunt down a second Morbius base to go with a Batman or something because that base is so cool, dude.
I'm super excited for that figure.
Yeah, and Ryan's another one who had faith in the Morbius because him and I were talking about that. Like, dude, I'm not ashamed that I'm picking it up. I've got a horror collection too. It's going to look so good with those figures too.
That movie's awful, but like I said, I just
the movie.
I never let the movies dictate the figures.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to you guys are capable of separating the figure from the film. If you're a fan of the actor or actress, or if you're just a fan of the character, if you're like, I'm just happy that we finally got a Morbius in live action, you can purchase the figure. Don't worry about the film. You know, that's not everything. Yeah.
Don't let other people tell you.
For sure.
It's your money. You do what you want with your money. Don't let anybody try to tell you how to spend your money.
Yeah, Kaiju, I'm so on the fence. I probably won't get the Golden Years one, but I'd probably get the other one. But again, like I was so impressed by Damn Toys as a manufacturer when I opened that Leon Kennedy figure. I'm sold on that company, dude. I'm gonna keep a watchful eye on them. Also, one thing I didn't show, guys, is the we can pull it up real quick. We just got an Inarte from I don't know what I just said. We just got an update today.
Inarte, what's that?
I thought I heard in our.
I did say Inart. We got an update today from Iconic Studios. They are now shipping the Ryu figure. So if you pre-ordered Ryu from Sideshow, I imagine he's going to start shipping soon because they just said that their figures are heading out to all of their major retailers. So I think they said if you pre-order directly through Iconic, you shouldn't be getting a invoice if you haven't fully paid it off very soon. So this figure, guys, is going to be a sleeper. I'm telling you. I'm really impressed by this company. And I know CMB is as well. One, their communication is incredible. I have spoken directly with one of the owners of this company, and he's a collector himself. I mean, he has a YouTube channel, which I didn't know. He has a YouTube channel with like 10,000 subscribers. So he's a collector through and through. He knows his stuff, and he's very passionate about what he's doing. So I'm telling you guys, keep an eye out on this company. So far, they've done some amazing stuff that I'm really excited to see in hand. Of course, that's always the final test. We want to see everything in hand, but I do have some confidence in them after speaking with one of the owners because he seems like a very down-to-earth guy who knows his stuff. And seeing the final product photos of this Ryu, I was very impressed. I just realized this whole time that I was talking about Ryu, I did not have the tab up on the screen for you all to see. So I'm sorry. I was looking at it, but it wasn't up for you all. This is the Ryu that I was talking about. But again, I have a lot of faith in this company. They've done so far for pre-order. We have Patrick Bateman. So if you're a fan of American Psycho like I am, that's huge. And that figure looks really beautiful.
Still waiting on that one.
Yeah. So I'm about to pre-order the Patrick Bateman. I haven't ordered that one yet, but that one did get delayed till next year, unfortunately. The Muhammad Ali figure, which is officially licensed, of course, and has officially licensed Everlast gear, which is really cool because we don't see officially licensed gear very often. You guys know, even with Marty McFly with the Nike Air Mags, they didn't have the branding on them, or even like the Back to the Future 1 Nikes, he didn't have branding on it. So that's pretty huge. Really, really cool. Yes, Andreas, there was an update. Probably Cigars, was that like 4 months ago almost now on the Patrick?
No.
Bateman?
It was about 3
months. Yeah, so there was an update on Patrick Bateman. They were having some trouble with the open mouth sculpt, kind of perfecting that. So that's why we have a delay on them. But if you go on Iconic's Iconic's website, there's a whole write-up with updates on everything, which is it was beautiful to see because, again, we're talking about transparency with these companies. And there was an entire post about the whole manufacturing process, photos of everything. Like you can't be more transparent than that. So again, I am really, really rooting for this company. Also, like Chris is a big Elvis fan. They did 2 Elvis figures. They did the 70s look for Elvis, and they did the Jailhouse Rock, like black and white. And these figures that they're doing just look beautiful. So I really hope the final product delivers. They're working with TB League. They're doing custom bodies for all of these figures. So like the Ryu has a custom TB League body. The Muhammad Ali has a custom TB League body that is perfect for his proportions and skin complexion. It looks incredible. So I'm keeping an eye on them, especially that they're doing Silent Hill stuff now. They're doing the Pyramid Head and the Nurse. Like I'm really keeping an eye on this company. Yeah, those are custom TB League bodies as well. So yes, Blackbird. They also teased the Ken with the final product photos for Ryu. So I'm keeping a watchful eye on this company. I know a lot of people aren't talking about them, but guys, you definitely heard it here through us. This company is one to keep an eye out on because I think they're going to be doing a lot of stuff that we're kind of begging for, that we know these bigger companies like Hot Toys and 3-0 aren't going to touch. Definitely keep an eye out on Iconic. Finally, guys, the last thing that I wanted to talk about, and very briefly before we close out here, again, for Resident Evil fans, we did get an announcement for Ada Wong from Resident Evil. This one is definitely really special for me because, again, I love the Resident Evil games, and I'm really excited about the Resident Evil line moving forward from Damn Toys. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I was really hoping for a Mr. X, but unfortunately, they said they did close off the line here. So my next big want would be a Nemesis figure. So we'll see what they deliver moving forward because I think they do plan on doing like Resident Evil 4 and stuff, especially with all these remakes that they're doing for these Resident Evil games. I think they're definitely going to consider doing that. But yeah, guys, we did get an Ada Wong. I think my only complaint, we can't pass on this. If Hot Toys wants to take notes on that. That's yeah. Those proportions are good. Let's just say that those are good proportions. I think this figure looks great. I love the head sculpt. I think my only complaint, her like tights should be a little bit more see-through based on how they look in the game. But apart from that, I love the proportions. I love the sculpt, and I love this look for her. This is my preferred look for her personally. So just wanted to share that with you all. Again, this would be one to keep an eye out on because those other Resident Evil figures are selling out very quickly, surprisingly. So just put this one in your wish list and kind of keep an eye on it, just because who knows what the future holds. But in terms of the info, guys, if you're still here, 46 people watching still towards the end of the stream, please drop a like on the video if you haven't already. We really do appreciate you. And also, if you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. Now, guys, we're on the road to 1,000. I can't believe I'm saying it, but we're on the road to 1,000. Just an update for you guys. I mentioned earlier briefly my Captain Vaughn video. I probably will upload it tomorrow, if not sometime this weekend, but it is currently probably finished uploading at this point on the, rendering at this point. So I have a Captain Vaughn video filmed. It's an unboxing, a review, and a comparison. So I did compare him to both the 501st Deluxe and the Captain Rex. There was some discussion in the Discord about the color of the blue, and shout out to Zombie if you're still here for that idea to compare them. And I'm happy to say, they're very similar. So you'll see that in the video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I had a lot of fun unboxing that figure because as you guys know, I'm a big 501st fan. So had a lot of fun doing that. Also, right next to me, I just got my Echo. So I'm going to do probably a YouTube short on Echo because at this point, Echo's kind of old. I know you guys don't really care about a review on that, but probably do a YouTube short with a quick unboxing. I've been kind of trying to up my shorts game. So if you guys haven't already, check out my shorts section. I've been doing unboxings, goofy little skits that are kind of cringy but funny at the same time. So check them out. And I got a lot of other stuff planned. Also, Ryan and I have been talking about doing some like collab videos for some end of the year Hot Toys stuff. So I think we're going to go through with that. So we'll probably do some on my channel and some on his as well. So look forward to some cool collab videos. It's something I haven't done yet, but I think it'll be really cool. Also, this weekend is going to be really exciting for both Chris and I because finally we are going to be working on these display shelves. So this weekend, Chris and a little team of friends are coming over, and we're going to finally start building my new displays as Ryan just did. I know Ryan put up a video of him building his new display. So that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. It's going to be fun. It's going to be tedious, but I know Chris is really excited, not only to help me with my display, but to get these DTOFs out of here and into his house so he can start building his new collection room. I'm really, really excited. It's been a long time coming for me because I knew, when you have a growing collection like I have and a lot of us have, when it's time, and Brian was kind of saying the same thing. He's like, dude, it's time to ditch these DTOFs, especially when you're buying DeLoreans and stuff. You're like, dude, I need more space, So for me, that's kind of what happened. I had to make space for it, So the next logical step for me was to upgrade my displays. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So that's why I've been doing these little collection shorts to kind of give you guys a look at what my collection looks like now, because I don't really have time to film a collection video before Sunday, which is when we're going to be working on them. And also, there's a lot of stuff I want to do before I show you guys my collection, because I don't only collect Hot Toys. I've got 3.75 Star Wars, Black Series, Funko Pops, lightsabers, helmets, you name it. I got all kinds of stuff. So I plan on showing you all that. It's just I want to get my stuff all together, Yes, dude, Payton, Mr. X, dude, Resident Evil 2 Remake is such a fun game. And one of my favorite parts of the game is Mr. X just slowly creeping towards you as you're running away. And it's, dude.
I can't wait for the Resident Evil 4 Remake that comes out in March.
Dude. I can't wait, man.
Callisto Protocol comes out tomorrow. I can't wait to play that, dude. It got 5 out of 5 from a lot. They're saying it's probably the
Which
best
for a remake,
survival.
that's saying a lot.
Callisto Protocol is a new survival horror. It's from the guys that made Dead Space.
I thought you were talking. I got you. Yeah, I'm really excited, especially for that Resident Evil 4 remake, because that's another one of my favorites. I remember before I even bought that game, I played the crap out of the demo because I didn't have money at the time because I was young. I didn't have money at the time to afford it, so I just played the crap out of the demo, and I finally got the actual game. But yes, Thick Bantha Boy, I like that. Like that, like. That's our new phrase. Like that, like. Hey, that's coined. You heard it here first. Me too. It's going to be awesome, dude.
They said that it's more gory than the first one. They had to go in and get all these approvals because there's going to be. You remember how, the different ways you die in the game, different ways, like get chainsawed or axed. This one, there's full body dismemberment, getting chopped, we'd love it. Decapitations, all type of stuff.
That's what Chris has been hoping for.
So I'm looking forward to this new Resident Evil 4 remake.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And then like I said, Callisto Protocol comes out tomorrow. So I'm hoping we get some figures. Be cool.
That'd be cool for sure.
Iconic. You heard it.
Yeah, Iconic, dude.
Iconic, if you're listening, Callisto Protocol toys or figures and Resident Evil 4 remake figures. Let's go.
And get me a Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, dude, that Patrick Bateman's, that's going to be, for me, it's going to be like a huge
American Psycho is easily top 3 favorite movies of all time for me.
Right. That's such a huge film.
Don't run. Where are you going?
Such a huge film, dude. It really is. And there's so many like little messages and
I love that movie
so many twists and turns and so many things that make you think. Even the director said, like, obviously universally everybody's like, oh, he just dreamt all of that. And the director's like, nope, that's not what you were supposed to get from that at all. So it's
to get that it's a dream.
Right. No. It's a movie that's really like complex. And even to this day, rewatching it, I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't even know what I'm
you got to watch it over and over again to actually get the full synopsis of it. And even then, it's one of those movies where it's left to your interpretation.
And it has a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah. Hip to be square. Yeah, it is. I love everything about that film. So I'm really excited for that. And they're, out of all the companies that even do that quarter scale Patrick Bateman from that one company was trash compared to the Iconic. I'm sorry, but like the sculpt was so off. This Patrick Bateman is definitely, so far from what I've seen, is the ultimate Patrick Bateman. They got the raincoat right. Right. They got the tailoring right. Like, of course, this is if they deliver on the prototype compared to the prototype, but
well, you know,
the raincoat looks good. The axe looks right. Everything just looks good, man. It's solid.
The only thing from that, like, you know, all these other companies have done, like American Psycho, Patrick Bateman. That figure from Iconic is the only one that Christian Bale gave his blessings to. Like, they brought him to the studio and showed him the prototype and everything, and it was the first time Christian Bale said,
"That's right.
This for me is a 100%." green light. He's like, I love it. This is me. This is Patrick Bateman. He was like, you guys have my blessings. And it was the first time they said that Christian Bale's ever said that to any of his American Psycho things, from statues to other people making it. He was just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine, whatever. But they said that he literally was like, I give you guys my blessing. This is 100%.
They're the only one so far who has gotten the raincoat, the correct material. All the other companies did a cloth raincoat, and obviously that's not at all what it was. And it's magnetic,
and it's got the magnets. Yep.
So nice. But yes, Huey Lewis. Huey Lewis
underrated.
It did so many songs that are so like the first Back to the Future, for example. That's like the anthem of that movie, is the song from Huey Lewis. So,
well, I mean, Huey Lewis and the News were big in the 80s, but it was just one of those types of bands that, you know, come after the 80s, they kind of just disappeared.
Yeah. But all right, so as we close out, guys, of course, head over to Mr. Mom Collectibles, aka Ryan's channel. He's always putting out great content. Ryan's a great guy. It's been awesome to kind of have him start hanging out with us on the channel. I basically talk to him every day now, so he's become a good friend of mine. So definitely head on over to his channel. Also, we kind of briefly talked about it, but kind of what do you have planned for your channel, and what do you have going on right now? Like, what have you put out recently on the channel?
Aside from obviously a bunch of shorts with my daughter, as always, she continues to dominate the shorts side of my my feed. I just did the video last night about the DTOS, just kind of explaining my reasoning as yours,
right?
Why I'm switching, and it's no criticism to anybody with DTOS or not. It's just my own personal ideas in terms of why at this time I decided to switch my cabinets out. Right. And then I also filmed, which I wasn't going to, but I feel like with the Loki thing, it was important that I filmed the Golden Armor Wonder Woman 1984 review for 2 reasons. I filmed it to put it on. It's going to be up tomorrow, but one, because it was heavily discounted on Sideshow, right. So there might be like another batch of people that are buying it just because of discounts, or people who are skeptical because of the head sculpt. Yeah. And I addressed that in the video, so that's also one of the reasons. Because like I said, I held on for that reason, and I finally bought it. So I did a review of that. I wasn't going to upload it, like you said, because it's been out for about a year or so, but I said, screw it. I'll put it out there anyway and just see,
hey,
watch
it's got some informative stuff in it.
Yeah, and I did it for that reason, because that whole head sculpt transparency. It's one of those figures that I guarantee you watch the video, you probably won't want to buy it because of what you see on camera. And I try to plead like this is not what it looks like.
Right.
So I'm going to do some photography, and then I'll probably do some photography this weekend. I was on my Instagram, always doing photos, putting troopers in the water. You know, did some shots like that.
Yeah, he gave me a heart attack. He sent me a picture of Return of the Jedi stormtrooper in the water. I'm like, dude, I would never.
Give him a bath. So I might do some of that this weekend as well again.
That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, head on over. I don't think I remembered to put the link to your channel in the description, but search Mr. Mom Collectibles on YouTube. You'll find him. Otherwise, you'll find him also on the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group. I know he posted a couple of his videos in there, so you could check in there as well if you're having trouble finding his channel. Also, Thick Bantha Boy, it's been a pleasure as always to have you in the chat, hanging out with us. Really appreciate the kind words. Also, Payton as well. Good to see you as always. I hope you have a great night and a great weekend as well. It's almost the weekend, guys. That's the best part about having a stream on Thursday. You know that you're talking about Hot Toys, but you're also excited for your weekend that's right around the corner. But finally, once again, CMB, thank you so much for being here as always. It's always good to have you. It's always good to have your good constructive criticism on things, because sometimes it's hard to find that. So it's definitely always awesome to have you. And also,
I appreciate the compliments. Thank you.
Of course, dude. Of course. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out my boy Chris, Collecting Madness. There is a link in the description for his channel. Chris, what do you have going on over the channel? Anything new? Anything planned? Obviously, I kind of spoiled a little bit what we have planned as a whole, but yeah, what do you got going on?
Right now, it's just that review that I did of Grievous, and unfortunately fell apart. So anybody who wants to check that out, you can. I do have the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker. I converted from the sideshow one of that to Hot Toys. So I'll be putting that up, filming that, and then putting that up.
Thank you, OG. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there's a link to Collecting Madness, and there's a link to Mr. Mom Collectibles as well. Appreciate that, OG. You're the best.
Other than that, I don't know. I got a whole bunch of ideas, once I get this room together and whatnot. So I'm excited to go over there with you this weekend, and then
he's mainly excited to see me. It's not really the details. He just wants to see it. It's fine. So he doesn't have to admit it on stream. I don't know, man.
Yeah, shout out to all the beautiful people in the chat, and thank you as always, Connor, for inviting me.
It's a pleasure, man.
Congratulations on 500, dude.
Thanks,
you deserve it. You're
a
G in this community. So
appreciate it. Hey guys,
road to 1,000.
You guys are stop. Yeah. No, you guys are talking me up, but yeah, go support these guys. They support me, and I really do appreciate it. So I know you guys are in good hands if you drop a subscription over with them, because they're always putting out great quality content. And I truly mean this. All of my friends that I stream with, I do enjoy watching their content. So I wouldn't promote it if I didn't know they put out good stuff. So, and I know they're good guys because they're friends of mine. So yeah, Spantha, I appreciate you, man. You've been hyping me up all day, dude. I appreciate it. Watch, I'm gonna wake up and then my 500's gonna be gone. It's gonna be your guys' fault.
And make sure you watch the Indiana Jones trailer, because it has some of the best de-aging I think I've ever seen.
Yes, Indiana Jones trailer, Guardians of the Galaxy, Transformers. A lot of trailers dropped today.
Yeah. But Harrison Ford actually just came out and said he was blown away how good they de-aged him for certain scenes.
And that's when we know it's possible. We know it's possible.
I was watching that trailer, and there was some parts where I had to pause it. Like,
it was like
in the first part of the trailer when he like jumps on the horse.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a minute.
I have
like, oh damn, they de-aged it. I was like, they did really well.
My buddy just sent me a bunch of screenshots of like close-ups. I was like, wow,
it's hard. Yeah, they knocked him back a good 20 years. They de-aged a good 20 years.
So, yeah, I have high hopes. Matt said he likes being called anything. Beautiful. Yeah, so after the stream you could watch it. But yeah, guys, once again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel, moderators, as always, Matt and Sane One, OG. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are incredible, and I really do appreciate your help. And I know everybody in the chat appreciates you. You guys are awesome as always. But that's all I got for you guys. Again, keep an eye out. A lot of good content coming from everybody here. Again, my review on the Captain Vaughn will be up by this weekend. I typically like to upload stuff on Sundays if I can, because I know everybody's at home and they'll be able to catch it right when it goes up. So maybe Sunday. Being that it's Captain Vaughn, I wanted to get it out as quick as possible because it's fresh in everybody's minds. But most likely by Sunday, I'll have that up. And then again, subscribe to everybody else's channel and check out what they got going on, because it's well worth it. Trust me. But have a great weekend, everybody. Have a safe weekend. keep close attention once again on that last chance page. And if you aren't in the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group or not following me on Instagram, definitely do so, because you won't miss out on any announcements and or information, especially in the Facebook group, because we post a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, guys, that's all we got for you. Good night, beautiful. There we go. Hey, I hope you're talking to me, because I'll take it. I'll take it. If not, maybe you're saying that to Matt. Matt, there you go. You got called beautiful. I hope that makes your night. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys. Once again, have a wonderful night. Take care and buy plenty of Hot Toys.